You are listening to a True North Eager Beaver media podcast. The True North Eager Beaver podcasts are proudly brought to you by our founding sponsors, the Miss V Mysteries from Corvid Moon Publishing, your source for science fiction, fantasy, and cozy mysteries featuring a broad diversity of characters. CanadianTarot.com, your uniquely Canadian online eclectic tarot community and forum, and the Peppermaster, hot pepper sauces made from fresh farm ingredients to thrill your taste buds and expand your mind.
Well, good morning and hello, kids and cubs, and welcome to Season 3 and episode number 184 of the Daily Beaver Morning Show here on the Crier Media Network. Today, recording day is Saturday. Yes, you heard that correctly. Saturday, August 12th. So I just find it so funny. Saturday, August 12th. And even though right now it's a gorgeous day here at the Beaver Lodge, by the time we should end this show, the clouds should be rolling in and it should be raining until tomorrow, I think. I'm your host, the Eager Beaver, pronouns he, him, he, Mr. Beaver, eh? And with me, as always, is my dear friend, Mr. Grizzly, who actually proposed this wonderful idea. So, all the credit to him. Of course, a big thank you goes to our podcast's founding sponsors, the Peppermaster, the Miss V Mysteries from Corvid Moon Publishing, and CanadianTarot.com. And, since I'm a bit of a follower, I said, why not, right? I'm always game. We have a Saturday morning. I guess this one's going to be a bite. We don't hear you, Mr. Grizzly.
Big bite.
I've been, normally I file my talents, but I've been filing the chompers last night. Just make sure they're nice and just a little incisive bite there. A juicy bite. Yes, Kit Leanne. Good morning, Kit Miss Sadeka. Good morning, Kit Mohan. Good morning, Kit Linda M. Good morning, Kit PNC Bio. Good morning, Kit Wishful Sun. You were the keener today. First one here. Thank you so much for joining us on a Saturday, giving us some of your time. And to anyone who'll be tuning in later also, hey, hope you're having a great weekend. Also, some congratulations to Kits, Lori, and Jim, some of our sponsors, because yesterday they celebrated a wedding anniversary.
Oh, nice.
And we love here at the Beaver Lodge. So congratulations, you crazy kids. Many happy returns. But before we have some fun today, because listen, right, we get up early every morning, 5 days a week, and we're putting in some OT.
Yes, we are.
But this is not work today.
No.
Mr. Grizzly, how is your mental health today? And good morning to you.
Well, good morning, Mr. Beaver. My mental health is actually really good.
Oh, good.
As you know, we went to see the Barbie movie the other night. And there's a
Ooh.
shot of us just before we went in to see it. Don't we look adorable? Aren't
Oh
we
my
so
God, you
cute?
guys are so cute. This is
Yeah,
ridiculous.
like really.
Oh my
I
God.
think I look pretty good in blue and pink myself, but
You
that's just me.
do. You
Yeah.
do very, 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 very much.
Not too bad
Oh,
for an
wow.
old guy. You look wonderful.
He looks great. He
So
looks
yeah, to begin
absolutely.
the show, it's 9 o'clock on a Saturday. The regular crowd is sitting in. There's no one sitting next to me, but damn, I would love a tonic and gin. Not bad, eh? Pretty good. I just came up with that right off the top of my head.
That is pretty good indeed.
So you got some comments here, babe. It's like, we're such a beautiful couple, so cute. I love Bridget's glasses. So there you go, baby. See? And she says thank you to everybody. She's just on the couch
Aw,
right over there. So yeah.
aw, I love it. Well, we, my Beaver sweetie and I all saw it together as well, along with a friend of ours.
And
A friend, yes,
I'm
yes, yes.
I'm Knuff. I'm Knuff.
Yes, I've enough. I loved it.
So cool. So cool.
So, with a friend of ours, Deborah, who we
Mhm.
love dearly, and we call her our fairy goddaughter. We call ourselves her fairy gay fathers.
I get it.
So we went, if you will put it up there, Mr. Grizzly as well, my Beaver sweetie and I. Of course, I was pretty in pink. Well, I was the geek in the
Looking
pink, really.
fabulous.
Pardon?
Looking fabulous.
Looking fabulous. I thought after, only when I got home, I thought, oh, darn, I should have brought this with me to go see it. And then, of
I
course,
can't tell the photo
yeah,
there's the photo
just
better now.
I'm
What are you
keeping it up
holding?
there.
A bucket of popcorn? Is that a giant bucket of
Yeah,
popcorn?
it was, okay, well, here's the thing. This is a fairy gay daughter.
Okay.
Actually, she's married and everything for 6 years.
No.
But Alex and her were roommates for a while they were in university. Both of them are PhDs now. She's a PhD in physics.
Oh, okay. So yeah.
Just your regular. Um,
Am I even allowed to sit in the same room? Because
I
I'm
tell
just a
you,
slug. Right?
I keep on. My life is the Big Bang Theory, and I'm Penny.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you.
I'm the cute, dumb one who acts, and everybody else is. Alex has a PhD. Deborah has a PhD. His father has a PhD. His brother, I think, has a master's in electrical engineering and has a patent. I mean, they're all freaking brilliant.
I have a PhD too, but that's a different.
Yeah.
Those are they're
You
different.
specialize
Acts.
in
Something
love.
else.
So, yeah, Deborah, she's wonderful, wonderful, wonderful person, very vivacious, and she loves treats. She really loves treats. I mean, now she runs and swims and a whole bunch of stuff like that. She's fit as can be, but she loves treats. I mean, if you see her Facebook, it's always her eating something. That's probably not really good for you. So we got to the movie theater and they said, wait a minute, popcorn with 2 candies? Like this, and then you put the candy in the popcorn while it's still hot, and you get the salty and the sugar. Like they put them in. So yeah, it was this thing you put the popcorn in, and then you got 2 cans, and then you shook them together, and so yeah, like we really pigged out.
Well, I saw a thing at the theater the other day where they showed a big bucket of popcorn with Reese's Bites.
That's the one. That's what we got.
Yeah, you shake it all together, and I'm like, apparently it's good, but
Yeah,
I don't
it
know.
actually was Reese's Bites. You were allowed 2, so we got peanut because we already had peanut butter, peanut M&Ms. Actually, Michelle, you know what? I read in an interview many years ago. Michelle Pfeiffer does that.
Oh yeah.
When she goes, she gets M&Ms and she popcorn and she puts them in and she wants them all like this, but she only does it like once every whatever, because she said, I'm gonna get all the bad stuff in at the same time, the sugar, the salt, the butter. If I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it.
In response to PNC Bio's question here,
Okay.
no, I didn't find the movie super woke at all.
I didn't
On the
either.
contrary, I thought it was hilarious. I thought it was I thought it was incredibly well written. It was a statement on, our modern world. And I thought it was really, really funny. And there's a lot of subtle things in there. Like I know the premise of the movie sounds silly, but the writing is very clever. And if you don't pay attention throughout the film, you're going to miss a lot of things. Because, and that's one of the things Bridget said to me. She says, I picked up on a whole bunch of other stuff for the second watching because she went to see it with her daughter and then she went with me. And I'm like, yeah, one sec. And I had to point out to her, I go, there's one scene where they said to distract him, go and talk about The Godfather. And the guy starts, and you hear laughing in the background, and the guy starts to talk about The Godfather. But here's what's interesting. Everything he says is factual and true, and it really took place.
Yep.
So it was like they actually had some real insight into the film.
Right.
It was just interesting how all these dumb himbos actually had, like, they know what they're talking about here.
Right.
I just thought it was an interesting commentary, actually. And can I perform one surgery? No, but I'm a man. But can I get a clicky pen? No.
Can I talk to a doctor?
Can I speak to a doctor?
Am a doctor.
I am a
Oh,
doctor.
here you are. Hi, doctor. There he is. Hey, doctor. Security.
But I'm a man. Isn't that enough? No.
As I was noticing,
what about the patriarchy? Aren't I supposed to fail up? He goes, no, we don't do that anymore. We just hide it really well.
Exactly. Oh my God, it was so really. I loved it too. I thought. Oh, by the way, just before I go on, Mateo was here, or may still be here. So, hey,
Yeah.
good morning,
Hey,
little man.
what's up, Mateo?
How you doing,
How
buddy?
you doing, buddy?
Hope you have a fun day of play. Don't wear your mama out though, right? It's the weekend.
So should we?
No, I loved. I loved this movie because everything on the surface is super bubblegum.
Just look a little below it and you'll see, whoa, there's a lot going on there.
Scratch the paint. There's tons going on. It is so well written.
You can't drive? This car doesn't have an engine. Okay, yeah. You're right.
The satire is amazing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Everybody gets skewered.
Everyone. Yes.
Everybody is a hero. Everybody's a jerk.
Yep.
Everybody, even Barbie.
Oh yeah.
Everyone's
That's the best part of it.
Everyone's a jerk. Everyone gets a comeuppance along the way. Yes. And for me, so if you go in there and you say, "Oh my God, this is so woke. The men are so like,"
you missed the film.
Well, you missed the film because that's what's on top,
on the surface.
Yes. But the other thing is that, right, when you go see movies, right, that have stuff that are make believe, and you have to remember it's just a movie, right? You enter a world, and those worlds have rules and have a history. So in Barbie Land, there are rules to the way the society operates, and that's just the way it is. Right? Where have we heard? There's a guy named Bruce Hornsby that wrote a song called "That's Just the Way It Is."
That's just the way it is.
Talking about a time when that's just the way it is. Some things will never change, right? Until they do.
Wait a minute, Leanne. How is it possible you have a 26-year-old?
Yeah, really.
That can't be. You're like only 30.
Jeez. Flattery will get you many places, Mr. Grizzly. So
I'm not trying to go anywhere. I'm just.
But here was the thing. So if you want to go in there and see like all this like pro-feminism message, like, there's a ton of it. And if you want to put your blinders on to everything else and just see that and pick that out, you can do that. If you want to go there and see a male empowerment movie, it actually is. If you're paying attention.
It really is. Yeah. And that's the thing. Pay attention. You need to pay attention. Because they come off as dumb himbos, but again, scratch the surface a little bit and then see that in the end, I don't want to spoil the film.
Yeah.
I just go and see it, because if you walk in there and thinking this is going to be one of those super woke man-hating films, you've missed the plot entirely.
There's the way that society works and men's place in it. For me, the telling part, right, is when without giving away too much, is when Barbie goes home like this, and the movie never shows ever where the Kens go once the Barbies
we don't know
go
where
home.
they live. We have no idea.
What do the
we don't know
Kens
where they
do
go.
when the Barbies go home?
All the Barbies have their own dream houses. Where do the Kens go? We don't know.
We don't know. We don't know where they live. We don't know how they get to the beach. Beach.
I just beach.
They just beach.
The whole scene, I will beat you off. I'm like, I was laughing my head off.
Right. So
I'm just beach.
Okay, so I mean, come on, man. And for me, the message at the end was that any society that is too tilted towards any one group, when any one group or demo, I guess, has all the power or most of the power, someone's getting hurt.
So, Leanne, to answer your question, whether your 24-year-old son will join you or not, just tell him Margot Robbie and lots of other beautiful women in bikinis through a lot of the film. And again, Margot Robbie. Come on.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a sales point, I think, for any male who is attracted to females.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or female presenting people. I don't want to be offensive. You know what I'm saying.
And for about 10% of the men,
oh yeah, well, I was about to say,
Ryan Gosling and Simu Liu are not bad. I'm just saying.
Yeah, and that's what Bridget just said. Or the dudes, the women want to, the dudes are super hot. So
yeah.
And did you notice that all the main male characters are Canadian?
Mm-hmm. I did.
Ryan Gosling, Simu Liu, and Alan.
Yeah.
Michael Cera.
Yes. Alan.
Hey, Alan.
Fantastic. I love Alan.
I hate it here.
I know.
He says they're building a brick wall, and once they figure out how to build sideways, we're in trouble.
That's like
they're trying to build a brick wall, but they just keep going up higher. One stack of bricks.
All of Ken's clothes fit me.
And Michael Cera goes total ninja and beats the hell out of all these big tough construction workers, right? It's really funny.
It's like, oh my God. I really, really loved it. I really loved it. So because again, it seems fluff, but when the performances are actually a little complex, especially when they're learning their lessons and it's hitting home that they are not the people they thought they were. There might be, I would not be surprised if there are Oscar nominations for the two leads.
Yeah, I could expect it because to play the characters, they really had to embody, especially Ryan Gosling's character.
Oh my God!
Yeah, you have to remember, Ken is superfluous. Ken doesn't have anything in Barbie's world.
He literally says it like pretty much, unless your gaze is on me, nothing's going on.
Yeah. Like literally, Ken is no, it's not a plot giveaway, Leanne. It's like literally in the Barbie world. Yeah. What does Ken have? Ken doesn't have a mansion or a car or anything. He's Barbie's arm jewelry. That's it. That's all he's ever been. For all these guys to get all upset about it, I'm like, do you have a sister who played with Barbie? Ken was just in the background all of the time. Did you not know that?
Well, that was a joke when we were when I was in the coming out. And it was like, when I grow up, I want to be like Barbie because that bitch got everything. She's got the mansion, she's got the car, she's got the wardrobe, she's got the walk-in closet. She could be a doctor, she could be an astronaut. She's got the brains to be a doctor, an astronomist, a businesswoman,
physicist,
astronaut, construction worker,
Nobel laureate.
Yes, Nobel. It's like, damn, I want to be Barbie, and I got a rockin' bot and a great rack. Sheesh. Bring it on.
Well, there's without giving away a plot point there, Linda's comment, Ken never even had a penis. Well, there's I don't want to give away a plot point, but that plays into it. And he's like, no, I have the genitalia.
So So
Just go see the movie. It's really funny.
Listen, there are tons of those. It is a laugh out loud funny in certain parts. Laugh out loud funny.
Oh, yeah.
But like I said, when it all ends up, if you're paying attention to the entire message right to the end,
Mhm.
it's you have to make some room for everyone.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, because you do need to understand, like in Barbie's world, men are just window dressing.
Right.
In the Barbie world. Men don't have anything. Ken has one friend, Alan. That's it. Everybody else is a
And
Ken.
Alan seems to resent him.
Yes, I hate it here. Oh my God, Madge. The pregnant Barbie
Well, that's the other thing too, right? In the credits and all those like Barbies that
that were canceled.
were
Yeah,
canceled, like
discontinued.
the dog that actually poops.
Yeah, a dog that
Barbie
pooped.
dog,
And they have that in the film too, right?
right?
And Kate McKinnon, I thought, was brilliant because she's always in the splits. The whole film, she's always in the splits.
And you know what? If this movie had been made in the 70s, I swear to God, Word Barbie would have been played by Phil Stiller.
Oh yeah. She had that down to a science. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Just all I saw was Kate McKinnon channeling Phil Stiller.
Oh yeah. No doubt. No doubt.
And here's the thing, right? We heard about Ryan Gosling and we heard about Margot Robbie, but Simu Liu was in there, Michael Cera, Rhea Perlman.
Yeah.
What a surprise.
Yeah, that was a surprise. And I knew who her character was the moment we saw her. Right?
Yeah,
I'm
but
like, oh,
what a surprise. Wouldn't be surprised if there's a supporting actress nomination.
She was good at it. Well, and Will Ferrell was really funny too. And
that's what's in a creepy way.
He's like, don't hug me. Like you need to understand that there's a scene with Will Ferrell where he actually expresses that life is difficult for men too,
Right.
and we don't get to express ourselves the way we would like to.
Right.
There's a whole scene about
Right.
that. I mean, again,
Right.
if you think it's a super woke man-hating film, you missed the movie. You missed it.
And America Ferrera. Exactly, Jen.
She's
Yeah, you kid Jen right there. Yeah. And there might be another Oscar nomination there.
Yeah.
It's such a good cast.
Yeah, it really is.
And it's not like in the advertising, I haven't felt that the entire cast has been pushed up.
No.
Like this. So it's a way, it's not like just this film that has like two big stars and everybody else is just.
No. There's a lot of surprises that you didn't see coming. Because I didn't know, I like from the ads, I didn't know Simu Liu was in it.
Yeah.
I didn't know he was in the film and he plays one of the main characters, right?
Yeah, not at all. So I really loved it. I am officially team. Your Queen Beaver is definitely officially Team Barbie. Bring it on, haters. Oh, and by the way, it seems that we're getting some because for some reason the number of reviews that we have on Apple Reviews have gone up sharply.
Oh yeah,
we had like 14 at one point, and now there's 19, and there seems to be a certain number of people who like to give us one
star.
Hey, it's still a star, and you
Hey,
still
we'll
watched.
take it. Oh, so it's the haters. They're hate watching us.
Yes, so they're giving us ones.
Thanks, hate watchers. Thanks for watching.
So
Keep watching.
Here's a online media literacy thing, right? When you go and look for reviews for things, and you got a ton of them that have 4 or 5, and then a ton of ones and not much in between. Mm-hmm. It's because it's really good.
That's it, right? Because they're polarized, right? So yeah. Hey, thanks for hate watching. You should subscribe so you can hate watch us every day. The more subscribers we get, the more content we'll produce. We can make you angry daily.
Because, hey, right? As they say in the movie, right? It's Hate Watch Day. Forever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever.
Well,
every day is Hate Watch Day.
For the haters, I've got a tweet here that I saw earlier, and I'm going to put it on the screen in just a second. I'm going to read it out, and then it's not authentic. It's fake. but it seems to be so apropos. So I'm going to put this on the screen and I'll read it out. And this is from Slappy, Mark Slapinski. I have been diagnosed with testicular atrophy, micropenis, gynecomastia, and periodontitis. Apparently, I have incurable anal fissures. These led me to a fascination with 14-year-olds. I feel bad for myself. Again, this is not real. It's fake, but it's appropriate.
And here's a little interesting development. Miss Grizzly.
Okay, I'm trying to share it. I don't see anything there. I don't know if it's
Well, it's when you go to Mark Slapinski's Twitter profile, you don't see anything. You actually see something that says these tweets are protected. Only approved followers can see Mark Slapinski's tweets. To request access, click follow. Learn more. It seems that he was tired of people letting him know what they thought about his looks like a prostitute tweet. And now, of course, he did an oopsie, right? Just like the 75,000 other times he's done oopsie after,
saying something really.
So I mean, clearly this is his business model, right? Say the vilest thing that you can say, and then let's hope it goes through. And if you get to start getting too much heat, go oopsie. And if you get more heat, then just lock your account for a few days and keep on tweeting to your little echo chamber there, that will always soothe your feelings, because now your fifis are hurt, right? Because you did something bad, and I mean, it's like word on the tweet is that legal action has been taken against him at some point, and I don't know where that sits. And maybe it's a case that the bills are starting to come due, and he's tweeting like the rent is due. And that might be what's going on here. But if he has not yet been sued for defamation of any kind yet, how?
It's not coming through clearly.
But yes, he's felt the need to go run and hide.
Well, because he's such a brave little boy.
Such a brave little toaster.
Look, man, I've encouraged people to visit his website, toronto99.com, and let him know how you feel about his commentary. And I've talked to a few friends who are computer literate individuals and web literate individuals, and they're doing a little bit of sleuthing to find out who his service provider is for his website, and they are petitioning the companies that service him to take it down for his hateful commentary. So let's see what happens with that.
Yeah, not a fan. Not a fan. Now, there are other people of whom I am not a fan who have surprised me of late.
Oh, who? Because they were dumping on him too?
Yeah. Well, apparently, not only him, but the whole Doug Ford thing, which we will get to here, because that's the main reason for which
this show is existing today. Well, here's a good one from Ford. Doing the most interesting man in the world take. I don't always get busted by the Auditor General for shitty billion-dollar backroom land deals for my friends, but when I do, I try to spin it as a good news story about building more homes.
Oh, and look at that, with that beautiful, beautiful, beautiful piece of cheesecake. Yes. This is one that surprised me, because I'm not a big fan of hers at all. But Andy Lee.
Yeah, I can't stand her.
Okay, I can't stand her, and now she's doing more shows, and apparently she's lost her accent. Just
it's funny how that works.
But somebody wrote to her, "No way on earth would I waste my time listening to this garbage." I agree. But she responded, "Well, you did, because you're here commenting. Here's a picture of me for the future, so you don't have to listen to me. You could put it under your pillow or throw darts at it. Your choice. Have a good night, and thanks for your support. Peace." I don't like her, but you know what? You get style points, Andy.
Yeah, I'll respect the game on that one.
Points there.
Well, I think she's a terrible human being, but I respect that one.
Well,
I respect
here's the thing, right? It's like, I think she's a terrible human being as well, but that's like, again, why take time out of your day to say, no way on earth would I waste my time listening to this garbage? Just don't listen to the garbage and move on with your day.
Just ignore it. Yeah. And guess what? She's living rent free in your head, just like we're living rent free in your heads, all you haters. All you Christo-fascist haters, all you homophobic, transphobic haters, all you Pizzagate-loving, Sound of Freedom haters. We live rent-free in your head, and we're going to do it forever. So continue to hate watch us. Our numbers go up, we start to earn money. Thank you.
Of course. And then, hold on. I need to find it, however.
I love this comment from PNC Bio. I'm surprised those developers fought so hard to build affordable housing on the Greenbelt.
And here's the other one that
Slappy?
no,
I don't know.
if you look to the right, it's from Kian Bexty.
Oh, okay.
Why
Justin
do
Trudeau's daughter-
14-year-old girls remind Mark Sliplinski of prostitutes? I hate Trudeau as much as the next guy, but what the beep is wrong with you? Leave his kids alone.
Yeah, it's like even the most terrible people are coming out in defense of Ella Grace. She's a 14-year-old girl.
Yeah. So
To say something like that means you need more therapy than I do.
right. So I'm sitting there and I'm thinking like, because you know me,
Mhm.
right? I like to be fair,
Of course.
right? And I give credit when it's due, because I'm harsh with these people and I'm trenchant.
Mhm.
But it's like, for once, I agree with Kian, and I've actually gained a modicum of respect for the man. Well done, and more of this, please. Hashtag props, hashtag credit where it's due, because I believe in positive reinforcement.
Mhm. Yeah. Oh, and you know what? It's the amount of people that have come out of the woodwork to dump on Slappy for this. People that are normally on his side for everything he says and does. People have come out and said, "No, dude, no." And you got to remember, a lot of the people that are coming out to dump on him have 14-year-old daughters.
Uh-huh.
He didn't consider that for a split second when he said that disgusting thing that he wrote. So, F-A, F-O.
Just listen, I'm all for freedom of expression.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And when you have a guy like Kian Bexty, who is
Mm-hmm.
a known provocateur, he's proud to be a provocateur. He seeks to push the line and the limit every single freaking second of the day. The number of times I say, God, can you just not take a day off, man?
Mm-hmm.
When he's going, you cross the line.
That's
You
telling.
crossed the damn, like, it's like you didn't just like tiptoe right over it. You're like 7 miles clear across, right? And you sprinted like the roller, and you just went right through, boom, right over that line.
Well, it's not only over the line. It's like, how low is the bar? Well, he's under the Titanic right now. That's how low the bar is.
I mean, jeez. So you know what?
Yeah.
Hey, if even Kian Bexy is willing to say, hey, dude, there's a line.
That should tell you something.
Okay. Kian and I definitely do not have the same line.
No, definitely not.
But apparently there is a line.
Who knew?
The things you learn.
Yeah.
Revelations.
Speaking of revelations, going on a reverse mission trip, headed to Utah to teach people the joys of sin.
Where do I sign up? There's a mission. I'm gonna like to do. Hi. It's like, hello, I'm Douglas from the Church of Our Lady of Perpetual Indulgence. Have you sinned today? I like to help. Hello.
Lean over this way. Lean over. There you go.
Hello, Mademoiselle Fox. Lovely to see you. Yeah. So, consequences for Mark, please. Real ones. Ones that cost money. Money. Because money is the only language they understand. money. Make it
Nothing
through the
more.
nose. No physical harm. No online harassment. Don't get mad. Get everything.
Well, I mean, the only online harassment I've done is tried to get people to help us get his website shut down. So, because that's money.
That's money.
Right.
Don't get mad. Get everything. First wife's law. All right. Main event?
Start with this, right?
Yep.
Doug Ford on a steamroller. Destruction ahead. Autism supports municipal politics, public education, people on ODSP, seniors in long-term care, workers' rights, the Greenbelt Healthcare Science Centre, Ontario Place, transparency, integrity. He's steamrolling over everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
All right. So
his whole I watched him yesterday for a bit, and his whole bit about we're building houses again. Doug, why is nobody saying who's the we in this? Because the province isn't doing it. It's private developers on what should be public lands that he sold to them. The corruption isn't even sophisticated. It's he broke every rule there was to satisfy his wealthy donors. Period. That's it. So they could reap $8.3 billion in profit. And that's again based on 2016 numbers.
Yeah, and it's not even, it's worse than that, because as the Auditor General specifically stated, there was absolutely no recourse at all to the professional public service for their insight input into this new process that they created. They created a process to circumvent the one that already exists. There is already a process for this.
Mm-hmm.
They created someone, they handpicked someone, they brought him in, they got him to do the job, and they are both saying, Minister of Housing Clark and Premier Ford, that neither of them knew what that person was doing. The person they brought in expressly to work on the number one file, for which they're creating a new process that's not really one, that is indefensible, as the Auditor General said, in order to circumvent the process that is already there. And then they went out of their way to not get any input from anybody within the public service who knows anything about these types of processes in order to develop their process. And then, as if they were supposed to believe that, they say that they gave this person 5 months to come up with this process and get everything underway because there was speed. And that, oh, well, now I guess we know that 5 months isn't enough to do that process. Well, if you had taken 3 seconds to ask anybody who actually works in a process whether or not there's a way to do that in 5 months, you probably would have been told no, which is probably why you did not ask. And now you're pretending. Mm-hmm. Well, I guess now in hindsight, 5 months wasn't enough to, like, if this is a process that normally takes 2 years or 2 years and a half, 5 months is obviously not going to be enough.
No.
You do not need a grade 3 diploma to figure that one out.
And for the record, it's important because it's people are often saying he's a high school dropout. He's not. Doug Ford did graduate high school. He dropped out of college. And that footnote is very important because we're all about facts and truth here. Remember that. He did graduate high school. He dropped out of college. There's the difference.
So
let's get where he dropped out. That's important, is what I'm getting at. You know, I don't want to say things that aren't true.
So
he's also a former hash dealer. That's also true.
So yeah.
Go figure. Here's the funny thing, right? So a former hash dealer, Premier of Ontario, the first year of legal cannabis, they lost something like $120 million.
Yeah, couldn't figure out how to sell it legally.
I mean, that should be disqualification as premier right there. Come on, people. Like, really?
It was his one trick.
Really?
So, Frank Dominic has a great video out there, because we put him before that basically.
I was about to bring it up, actually.
Yeah.
I have it here.
Okay.
You want me to put?
Well, you can put it up, but really it's really just the first part. That's really the the part that gets you, because clearly he's incensed. Unfortunately, it seems to be cut off at the end, though.
Well, we'll just run
Ford
this.
thinks that you're a stupid motherfucker, or at the very least the people who vote for him are. Because when asked by reporters whether or not he was friends with the developers that he basically gave $8 billion to, Doug Ford said he is not friends with any of these developers. Which is the exact opposite logic he used when he was defending these exact developers being at his daughter's Stag and Doe. Back in February of this year, the premier said that he confirmed that those guests identified as developers are personal friends of Doug Ford and his family. Nothing is more personal and private than your family and going to a stag. It's not unusual for anyone. I know the difference of what we should and shouldn't do. Our family has been in politics for 30 years. And according to Doug Ford and conservatives, this is business as usual, which means for the last 30 years, he's admitted that the Ford family has been giving out money like this, public funds to billionaires, making backroom deals against the will of the people. Mr. I don't govern like government, I govern like the people. Because for record, this is the largest political financial scandal in Canadian history. Approximately 8 to 9 times larger than both the gas plant scandal from the Liberals and the We Foundation scandal from Trudeau on the federal level. Yet once again, the National Post and all the other conservative rags are going to come out and say, well, this is just how government is done. Corruption is par for the course. You knew who you voted for. You voted for a drug dealer. Ignore the fact that the people who are writing these articles are journalists and authors who are also political candidates for the Conservative Party. Which is why I started this video by saying,
Doug Ford thinks you're a stupid motherfucker, or at least the people who vote for him do.
Yes. Thank you.
Making the point that we made on the other show. It's about his friends. There's a whole bunch of people that are really surprised to have been unfriended all of a sudden.
Oh, yeah.
February is when Doug Ford said, oh, those developers at the Stag and Doe, that thing that can get me in trouble because I was asking people to go, those are my personal friends. 7 months. Oh, well, things change.
Well, the PNC bios comment, aren't these conservatives constantly saying they're smart? They didn't remotely cover their tracks. They practically made criming in progress signs.
Yes. Except that may be the case today, that they're no longer your friends, but at the time that you unparceled the lands and whatnot.
They certainly were then.
Again,
he can't even lie good.
Both legs are yellow now.
Yeah. He can't even lie good. He's, most politicians, we know all politicians lie, right? We know that. That's a given. Most of them are somewhat decent at it. He's a terrible liar.
So,
he can't even lie.
Seriously.
He can't do anything right. If you're going to tell a lie, at least make it believable and not one that we can go.
Interesting.
Well, not one where we can go, no, the proof is literally right here from just a couple of months ago. Okay. Just a couple of months ago.
If you're going to lie, be really good at it or be entertaining like George Santos.
Yes. At least he's entertaining.
But come on, man. Come on. Now, I watched the whole damn thing.
Oh, how did you get through that?
I have
alcohol,
patience of
alcohol, cannabis, Valium,
all at the same time.
Handful of Quaaludes.
It's amazing that I'm sitting upright. Okay,
Jesus, I couldn't watch the whole thing. I had to turn it off several times.
Dude, hand on my heart, I fully and completely, totally understand that. Pardon my language. That shit was painful.
Oh yeah. Well, in the way he attacked the female journalist who asked him a question.
Well, that was yesterday.
Yeah.
That's not at the press conference.
Oh, you're talking about the first one.
The first one. Okay. Oh yeah, I didn't watch the one yesterday. That clip that went around. I saw that, and it's the first thought was let me guess, female journalist, right? Turn it on. Yeah. Sure enough. Cut her off.
Sure enough.
We got that clip.
Don't make me.
Yeah, we got that clip there for that. Well, remind me. We'll play that one. Okay. I watched it, so you didn't have to. But unfortunately, to do this, I got to show you pieces of this. I would like to sincerely, deeply apologize. Okay.
Well,
Just so. And if you have like something like a stress ball or something soft and squishy, I'll give you a couple seconds to go fetch that. Yeah, because you're probably gonna want to throw a few things. Just
it's the current trending thing
yes,
in Canada right now.
yes, exactly. You're gonna want to throw a few things, and a fit will only be one of them. Okay.
Mm, mm.
Oh my God, this was bad. All right. Now this here is from Global, but since it's been a couple of days, they've sort of inserted some ads somewhere through, so maybe something will be cut. So if it comes in, please excuse the stops and starts on our part. That's not us. But hey, let's put it up now. We're gonna go for the. We're gonna try and go through a little bit of his first 9 minutes with some stops and starts. And then we'll get into the questions. I know I said I wanted to show some of the questions that the Auditor General got to, and I'm not sure we'll have time to do all of that today. I might have to do that in a separate show. But there was definitely a theme and a pattern to the questions and the answers if you watched. Okay, so let's start here. Now this is from Global News that I got here, but it's the full 1 hour thing with him. If you'll, is it not up, Mr. Grizzly?
No, it was there.
Okay,
it
hold
just
on.
disappeared.
Yeah, hold on. I'll try again. All right.
I don't know if anybody can see that.
Okay.
Can you see that?
I'll just go with the default that people can see. The look on his face.
It's blurry as all get out, though.
Oh, okay.
Send me the link, and I'll be able to share it from here. If you send me the link.
Yeah, but I have to do the stops and starts and the time sets, so I have to do it from here.
Oh, okay. Because it's not going to work. Let's see.
There we go.
Oh, there we go.
Okay,
we're good. We're good. Okay.
First of all, that does not look like the face of a man who had a good night.
No, it does not.
Okay, now I'm telling you, bullshit from the word go.
Mm-hmm.
So just hold on to your hats.
I want to start with the facts.
Okay, right there.
Yeah. Wait a sec. Okay. And
First lie.
The first fact is a lie.
Ontario is experiencing unprecedented growth. Last year alone, Ontario grew by more than 500,000 people. Put that into perspective, the federal government brought in 1.1 million people into our country. 600,000 people landed everywhere else. But folks, guess what? Eventually, they're going to end up in Ontario.
Okay. There's no evidence of that.
No.
No evidence, right? Certain number of people came. They spread out throughout the entire country. Most of them in Ontario, probably the greatest plurality in the Toronto area. But it's not like an eventuality that all those who settled anywhere else are going to find their way to Ontario.
Well, have you also noticed, if anybody has not been paying attention, there's a little thing that Doug seems to ignore here. And let me just pull it up. I'm trying to get the webpage up here. Where is it? I have it saved. Oh, come on, Paul. You're supposed to have this ready. I was supposed to have it to look good and just put it up right away, and somehow I lost the page. Alas.
Right.
Sometimes that happens.
Well, keep going. You'll find it.
Oh, yeah.
That's more newcomers than both Texas and Florida, the fastest growing states in America. We are now the fastest growing region, bar none, in North America. At current rates, Ontario will grow by more than 5 million people in the next 10 years. That's close to adding 2 cities the size of Toronto in a decade. These are staggering numbers that didn't exist a few short months ago. Considering these facts, it's never been more important to deliver on our commitment to build at least 1.5 million homes. Failing to act would worsen the housing supply and affordability crisis. In particular, Young families and newcomers in search of the Ontario dream will see home ownership slip further away as they're locked out of the housing market.
You can tell he's reading.
Oh, yeah.
You can tell he's reading. Now, there are a lot of facts here, and you have to understand that what's going on here is an exercise in preemptive framing for the rest of what's going to come. So he's mentioning all these facts, and he's talking about the situation in Toronto. And he's going to use all of this to say that this situation made it so that the ends justified the means, when the Auditor General explicitly said, because we showed it to you, that the ends do not justify the means. All right. So basically everything all this is a setup for everything that the Auditor General said. Bah. Okay.
Failing to act would hurt everyone in Ontario by driving up the cost of goods and services and by hampering new job creation and investments. Failing to act threatens to erode Canadians' so far unwavering support for immigration at a time when our economic success depends on welcoming skilled newcomers to fill critical labor gaps. As Canada and Ontario welcome more people, we need to build more homes of all types. It's that simple.
Now, up until there, he's not doing so bad.
We need to build homes of all types.
All types.
You know why he puts that in
Yes,
there.
yes. But
McMansions.
right now, he's not doing so bad.
Mm-hmm.
But remember, all of this is framing.
Mm-hmm.
To do so, our government is the first in decades to have a real plan to build more homes.
Wait a sec. Stop him there. What part of our government has a plan to build homes? Okay, there is a plan, and it's on a section of land in southern Ontario, in the Peel region, that is zoned. It's 300 square kilometers, and it's zoned and ready to be developed right now, today. It's ready to be developed.
That's the plan.
The infrastructure is largely in place. It's ready to go. But he believes we can only build in the Greenbelt.
He needed another plan.
Well, and here's the other thing, too. We have that plan in place. Not a shovel's been put in the ground. The province has not built a damn thing. He is basically promoting his developers right now. Here we go.
Yep.
Dump the bullshit on us.
It set ambitious targets for growing municipalities. It has cut costly red tape while reducing municipal fees and taxes on purpose-built rentals, as well as affordable and attainable housing. Through our transit-oriented communities, we're planning for density right next to transit, including the new Ontario Line subway. After decades of stagnation, we're starting to see results. Against challenging headwinds like higher inflation rates and labor shortages, 2021 and 2022 had the most housing starts in over 30 years.
And while that may be true, it is still nowhere near enough to the targets that he himself has set.
Mm-hmm.
And yet, despite the fact that there's all this land that's ready to go and infrastructure ready, he decided to rather than to go ahead and build on those lands, to take time out of his premiership to come up with a whole other plan, develop a whole other policy that they knew or ought to have been known was not going to cut the mustard. And now he says he's going to continue with this plan when he's probably going to be involved in a legal nightmare for the rest of his mandate.
Mm-hmm.
If not a government, and if not exclusively a government legal nightmare, a personal one as well. So which means that they will be distracted from the process of building homes, and that there will be much, 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 much more scrutiny on the process for building homes on any land that's already approved now. Because now the whole province's attention is on them. So had he just started building homes on the land that was probably approved, he probably still wouldn't have met his targets, but he'd probably be further along than he is now.
Oh, yeah.
This positive momentum and a step in the right direction, but as our province grows at an incredible speed, we need to do more. That's why when we were reelected in June, we made the decision to exhaust all options available to the
Clearly, he did not exhaust all options available because he didn't even try to work with the option that was right in front of him. He created a new option. You do not exhaust all options available if you need to create a new option. You've avoided all options available in order to go your own way.
And the plan that was already in place on lands that have been approved, set to be developed, ready to go, we're just going to sidestep that so I can make my
But we've
buddies rich.
exhausted all options. No, you fabricated new options.
province to build more homes faster, including by developing new policy framework to guide how we could unlock non-sensitive lands.
And the Auditor General said there was no policy framework.
None.
And no financial controls and no environmental controls. You did not develop a new policy framework. You developed a workaround to the policy framework that existed. That was the new policy framework.
How did you get away with this shit?
The new policy framework was no policy framework.
Yes. How did you get away with this? How come his feet are not held to the fire for the obvious bullshit he spews out of that slash in his face called a mouth? Like, my God, how can you lie with such impunity and never be held to task for it?
More from Premier Porky Pig.
Keep rolling. I got to get a coffee because I need a break here.
5 months later, I was briefed on specific sites that
He puts the order out. 5 months is all it took to be briefed on specific sites. 5 months was all that was needed to identify, evaluate, know if there was any conflict with Indigenous people, know if there was any conflict with anything environmental. No, 5 months. And then they turn around and they say, oh, well, gee, I guess now we know that that wasn't enough time to have a process that would make sure that due diligence was... Again, seriously, the case of political hepatitis that I got going on my legs. Yee.
met this criteria, including offsets that grew the size of the Greenbelt. Driven by the need to build more homes, Cabinet approved these land swaps. This initiative will add more than 50,000 new homes to house more than 150,000 people, while at the same time growing the Greenbelt by 2,400 acres.
So, first of all, growing the Greenbelt by 2,400 acres, what is the quality of the lands being added to the Greenbelt versus the quality of the lands being removed? Has there been an assessment? Has there been a comparative analysis of that? What are we getting? Yes, there'll be more Greenbelt lands because they've added 2,400 acres, but what is the quality of that land versus the quality that's being taken out? And and then there's something he said before, that I should have written it down. But you see where he's going with this, right? You see where he's going with this whole policy framework and stuff, and that we needed to do this. And he's trying to create an after the fact justification for what he did. And the problem is that when you try to create after the fact justifications, when you're listening, you get to play this little game. Okay, well, for what you said to be true, what else also has to be true? And that's where the after the fact justifications fall apart.
Most of these sites were requested by municipalities, in some cases, for several years now.
But nobody from the municipalities are there backing them up, and nobody from the municipalities have gone to the press yet saying that that's true.
Yeah,
so,
nobody, not a single person.
Yeah.
So show us your work, Doug. Yeah. Show us the proof.
Show us the proof. And the thing I was going to say before is, so what he is saying now is that not only in 5 months did this guy figure all this out, that these parcel lands were the parcel of lands, and that environmentally it was fine, and that with relationships with First Nations it was fine, and for all that kind of stuff. But then that went to cabinet, and I guess the information in the document was so convincing that they were able to approve it in just one meeting. Again, this is their number one priority policy platform. Build that highway nobody wants and market some land around it.
Yeah. And look who owns all the lands around the highway.
They gave the process 5 months. There was not extensive cabinet discussion. And both of them are saying that after they went through the effort of personally bringing someone in to be Steve Clark's chief of staff, that for the next 5 months, neither of them asked any questions whatsoever about it. And that shades of Marco Mendocino, Steve Clark only got the document with the recommendations 1 week before it went to cabinet, and Doug Ford only got it on the day it went to cabinet. And with that much scrutiny on their number one policy issue, in which they at no point in 5 months checked in on the guy that they personally brought in to do this, hey, how's it going? And approved it. This is what he wants. This is what he wants you to believe. These are all the things that need to be true for story. And then these people who have already had one term, and Ford has been in government for a while, at different levels, want you to also believe that there's no way that they could have possibly known that 5 months wasn't enough time to do due diligence on this.
The one question, or the one statement here from Linda, it's like journalists should be hounding the municipalities to see if this is true, but they're not. And I'll tell you why they're not, Linda, because you got to remember who owns most of the media in this country. Right?
Let's keep going.
So maybe we can reach out to a municipality. Do you think? Well, if we called as concerned citizens and asked the question, I'm sure somebody would answer it. Whether or not they'll go on the record is another story. But you know,
yeah. All right, let's keep going.
Critically, this initiative impacts sites not owned by the government. It impacts privately owned properties.
Okay, now this is the thing that Brian Lilly to the rescue is saying, like, this is the big point. This is the point that matters. Nothing else matters. This is, okay, here's the thing. Right? Because he says something a little later. Because, like, these were not, but before, because remember, things happen in a sequence, right? So these lands weren't privately owned lands. And then a decision to open them up happened. Right? I'm guessing there is a time at which the Greenbelt was indeed government land, not privately owned land. And somewhere along the way, some of that land became privately owned. And now these projects are happening on privately owned land. But how did these lands become privately owned in the first place? Notice that little thing he's doing with time? He's starting history from the time that the lands were already privately owned, not before.
Well, here, this is directly from the greenbelt.ca website. Ontario's Greenbelt is the world's largest protected farmland, forest, wetlands, rivers, and lakes. 2 million acres of protected land work together to provide us with fresh air, clean water, fantastic local food and drink, and world-class outdoors rec and tourism experiences. 2 million acres.
Okay. It's government land.
I've got a map here. I'm going to put it on the screen for a split second, and then we'll go right back to Dougie. But here it is. That's the area. The Greater Golden Horseshoe is one of the fastest growing regions in North America. Up to 13.5 million people will live here by 2041, making it more important than ever to protect the resources, providing us with a great quality of life.
All right. Back to duplicitous Dougie.
This initiative established conditions to ensure that billions of dollars worth of community benefits, including new roads, parks, community centers, transit, water, and healthcare infrastructure, as well as major nonprofit housing buildings, are paid for in full by the landowners and builders, not Ontario or municipal taxpayers.
So so that's curious because he kept saying, we're building, but then he just says, he contradicted himself. Ontario's building, we're doing this. It's all paid for by private developers. Well, which is it, Doug?
I'll pay for until private developers until there are cost overruns, and then we backstep because we don't know the deal.
Mhm.
We don't know the deal. Have we backstopped those in any way? Are we providing financing at interesting rates first, or how is this? We don't know. We don't know.
This is for plain power out in Alberta, fresh water, oxygen, and carbon sink, and that is to be demolished. WTF, where the feds? Well, we want an RCMP investigation into this because the OPP is in Doug's pocket.
Who owns the
Whether-
OPP? You know he.
Whether anybody who's a member of the OPP wants to admit it or not, the top brass, the leadership of the OPP is in Doug's pocket. No investigation will ever happen. Not while he's premier.
Mm-hmm.
Doug has control of the media and the police force in Ontario.
Yep, he's down with OPP.
Yeah, you know me.
Mm-hmm. Who owns the OPP? You know it be he.
The new infrastructure. That's new schools, parks, community centers, long-term care homes, and hospitals. That's new
For-profit.
housing. That wouldn't exist if our government didn't make the decision to unlock these properties.
Bullshit.
That's bullshit. They could have existed.
They could have existed. It's not the only place to build, Doug.
It's not the unlocking of the properties did not make this possible.
No,
That's up.
but it's a nice line of bullshit he's trying to sell us. You're trying to tell me that in the vastness of the province of Ontario, and let's just say Southern Ontario alone, let's just say that. You're trying to tell me there's not a single place where any of this could be built other than the Greenbelt? Doug, you're so full of shit, your eyes are brown.
Barefaced lie. Let's keep going.
We're also requiring that new home construction begin no later than 2025, with significant progress on approvals and implementation by the end of 2023. If these conditions aren't met, we'll return these sites to the Greenbelt.
What conditions?
This initiative will also spur significant economic development and GDP growth by creating new construction jobs and long-term employment opportunities in healthcare and social services. Now,
Stop it there for a sec. The new construction jobs. Okay, hold on to that thought for a second.
Mm-hmm.
What was it his government did recently? Change the rules. You can drop out of high school and start to work in the trades, but you're going to be an apprentice for several years until you're fully qualified because you're not even 18 yet, which means you're never going to earn union wages. Never. You're going to earn minimum wage because you're a general laborer who's learning. And if he could get away with not paying you, if he could hire you as an intern, an unpaid intern to learn construction, he could create a program, and you watch and see. They'll come up with the government of Ontario is going to create an education program where we can help you learn a trade. It's not a paid thing, but we're paying for the teaching of it. In other words, it'll be free labor for his developer buddies on Greenbelt lands.
Who he will pay for the privilege of creating free labor. Why pay the employee when you can pay the employer?
And here's the thing. Somebody will say, oh, you're being ridiculous. Yeah? Watch and see. Okay. I am seldom wrong on things like this, and I hate that I'm seldom wrong. I wish I was wrong, but I guarantee you he will pull this shit.
Yep.
Guaranteed.
Let's keep going.
While we'll never waver in our commitment to build more homes, we know that there are areas for improvement as we move forward.
We will never waver on funneling more money to our developer, my developer unfriendeds, is what he means.
Of course.
We were moving fast. We couldn't have had a better process.
We couldn't have had a better process. But. Turns out that he misread the prompter. But the first one, right? If people want to take that clip now, say, Doug Ford said we couldn't have had a better process. Of course, he catches himself right here.
We could have had a better process. As premier, the buck stops with
Freudian? Was that Freudian slip?
take full responsibility for the need for better process.
Shades of Trump in Helsinki, eh?
Mm-hmm.
I don't see no reason why it wouldn't have been Russia.
I mean,
Why we support and will implement 14 of the report's 15 recommendations.
Oh, what was that? What was that? We will implement 14 of the 15 recommendations. I wonder what that 15th recommendation that they will not implement is. Oh, yeah. The one to review the whole thing because it's potentially criminal as fuck.
Yeah, that one. Don't. No, we're just going to ignore that one. We're going to ignore the process.
And then
there.
throughout the rest of
That's
the
not
press
that important.
conferences, every now and then he says 14 to 15, but then they start changing the wording to, we are implementing the Auditor General's 14 recommendations.
Mm-hmm.
Somewhere in the press conference, that language gets changed where they talk about the Auditor General's 14 recommendation, not 15. 14.
Yeah, they're just going to leave that out altogether.
We're going to implement the 14 recommendations that we agreed to implement. There are 15, but so if you just keep on saying we'll implement her 14 recommendations, I mean, she did make 14 recommendations, yes, but she made a 15th one too. And the 15th one is to review the whole thing and potentially even scrap it.
This quote from Linda here that I'm putting on the screen right now. Reminder that the Ontario government no longer enforces the qualifications for trade.
Yes. Convenient.
Do you realize how dangerous that is,
Yeah.
right? Number one. But number two, that's how he gets his new labor force of 17-year-olds to work for almost nothing. Or in many cases, well, no, this is an unpaid
workers who don't have rights yet.
Yeah. This is it's an apprenticeship program. It's unpaid. Except here's the thing. If you get an apprenticeship program in a union, you are paid a union wage.
Mm-hmm.
You learn while they're training you. I've met people who have been apprentices in unions, electrical apprentices, earning more money than I was when I was fully qualified, except my trade in this province is not recognized as such. The government of Ontario does not recognize what I do as a viable trade. It is unionized and it is recognized as a full Red Seal trade in the province of Alberta, but not in the province of Ontario. And we've been fighting for years to change that. It falls on deaf ears because they can get people to install telecommunications networks for less money because we're not unionized and we're not a recognized trade. Although what is changing in the province of Ontario right now, telecom workers are unionizing. Rapidly.
So when he says he's a champion for the little guy, he's a champion for the little guy who can't defend himself because you can exploit him.
That's all he's championing here.
Okay.
Exploitation.
So we're clear. Yes.
Doing so will strengthen government process. Every day we receive dozens of requests and proposals. We receive them from stakeholders, MPPs.
That's this version of I take pictures with thousands of people.
Of every party and everyday voters. Some of the best ideas we get come from outside the government. And
in your case, I would believe that.
Mm-hmm.
Oops. Sorry, someone flipped my switch to bitch there again.
Another Freudian slip, though.
Never stop listening. These proposals, they span every ministry: health, long-term care, transportation, and yes, housing. What matters is that the right processes follow once we receive these proposals.
What? Now, when you say the right process, you mean the political right process,
yes.
Right? Not right as in correct process, but the way that the people on the right do it.
Yes,
when you say
right there
do the right thing, you don't mean do the proper thing or the correct thing, right? You just do as the people on the right would do the right thing. Shit. Yeah.
Be a man, do the right thing.
Yeah, PNC bio, baha, right process. I know. Yeah, Fordian slip.
Fordian slip. Ford logic.
Every proposal was measured against our requirements.
I bet they were. The problem are your requirements, honey. That's the point the AG's making. Yes. They were measured against your requirements. Your requirements were the problem. Duh.
Mm-hmm.
Those that met them were considered for approval. Those that didn't weren't. And as I've said, moving forward, we recognize that the process should be better. As we implement the report's recommendations,
Except one.
it will be better. At the same time as Ontario grows, we won't deny 50,000 families, 150,000
Nobody's asking you to deny them anything. They're just asking you to do the job according to the law.
people a chance at owning a home. We have two choices. We can build more homes, or we can sit back and let the crisis get worse.
Actually, you have two choices. You can build new homes while following the law, or you can build new homes while not following the law. Those are your two choices.
Laws get in the way of me doing things, so I'm
Right.
not going to worry about it.
Nobody's asking you not to build homes. Nobody's trying to stop you from building homes. They're trying to stop you from building homes in a manner that's completely financially corrupt in such a way that you are arguably, if not already, the most criminally, financially corrupt government in Canadian history. And this by the tune of 8 times more than any other that came before. If Frank Dominic is correct. Anybody?
Our government is choosing to build. And as
Your government is choosing to fleece.
we continue to respond to the housing supply and affordability crisis, we need to keep moving. We were elected on a promise to cut through delays, to stop the never-ending talk, and deliver for the people of Ontario.
And you did it wrong.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to delivering, there are few issues as important as building more homes.
So why are you doing it wrong?
That's why our government will proceed with these developments.
So you will proceed with doing it wrong.
So long as our criteria and requirements are met.
Again, what criteria, what requirements?
And as we work to meet our promise to build at minimum 1.5 million homes, we will do so in a way that builds public trust and confidence in the process.
You already have not, and you said you're not going to change a thing. Well, except for adopting the 14 recommendations, except for the one that says review the crap you've already done.
We'll do everything in our power to support every newcomer and young family in search of the Ontario dream. That's my promise to you. Thank you, and God bless the people of Ontario.
Oh, shove it.
Now, Minister Clark and I will take questions.
What is the Ontario dream, please? Do you have to be asleep to get it?
To dream the Ontario dream.
I think you have to be asleep because he doesn't want you to know what's going on. It's called a dream because it's not real.
More like mirage.
Mm.
The Ontario dream, the American dream. God bless. Our Republican premier needs to get the boot.
Well, here's a good quote from Laura Babcock. Ford be like, we broke the rules, secretly set it up for our friends to make billions, erased emails, and lied to 15 million people in Ontario about our plans for the Greenbelt. We got caught, so we take accountability. But reverse our decision? Nope. Nope.
Right? Right? Okay, hold on for a second. I'm going
to... Okay. I just got to back it up a bit. Yeah, no problem. I'm not going to pull it down because if I do, it might not come back. That's the concern, right?
Oh, first question.
Well, I look at it.
Basically, because we can't really hear the audio of the question. The question was basically, how did you not know that all the stuff that was going on with the guy that you hired? Because you said you didn't know. So how is it possible that you did not know?
We run a $204 billion a year operation. I have trust in my ministers, I have trust in our caucus, and I have trust in our staff.
So basically he's saying, I hired him, I trusted him, and because I trusted him, nowhere along the process did I choose to verify.
Of course not. Of course not.
I have made a decision not to verify, is what he's saying.
Yeah.
Here,
Here's
I
the guy.
trusted them. I hire somebody. I trust them. If they do something screwy along the way. So basically, I hire someone and I leave them all to their own. And if something hits the fan 3 years later, well, oh well. Doody-doody-doo. Doody-doody-doo. All right. Keep going on this answer.
Derpy.
And I found out the day it was going to cabinet, and that's not unusual for a premier to find out what's going on the day before you go, the day of when we go into cabinet. And that's when I found out. I approved it. At the end of the day, I take full responsibility for the process.
So
His line there, though, it's I found out today, and that's not unusual. Totally a normal thing that happens all the time.
that line got Marco Mendocino fired.
Yeah.
And again,
remember who runs
Marco
media.
Mendocino got fired because the guy's name was Bernardo, and everybody should have known. Again, I repeat, this is this government's number one policy plank. The thing that makes their nipples hard, that provides a wet spot down below for them when they think about it. They just set up the process and just said, yeah, we were completely hands off from that point on.
Mm-hmm.
Really. When something's that important to you, to your government. And now, I think he gave about 30 seconds of a semblance of answer, and then he pivots to, gee, gosh, darn, Jesus, shucks, folks, bullshit.
Friend folks.
We have a housing crisis, the likes of which this province and this country has never seen before.
And like this country has never seen before, like Trump.
Yeah.
Except that made that sound like Bernie Sanders for some reason. So,
Like this country has never seen before.
right. So he basically goes on like that for about like a minute. So he basically his formula is giving about a minute and a half answers to everything, where he answers something like he says something to get through the nanosecond within the first 30 seconds. Sometimes it's even 5 or 10 seconds. And then he spends the rest of the time going through all the stuff that he said again in his opening statement about, we really need things. And there's this story of this person over there that I knew, and we shouldn't deny this person. How about this family? But all throws in all that folksy stuff again and again and again. So, and then he is going to turn around and says, I stood there for an hour, but he literally probably provided about 5 minutes of an answer. The rest of it was all slipping back into the sanctimonious, gee, aw shucks. I just want to help people. I take full responsibility, even though I'm not going to change anything. The buck stops with me, even though I'm not quitting, and I'm going to ask nobody to resign. I'm not.
He's not lying when he says he just wants to help people. That's an honest statement. He just wants to help rich people get richer, though. That's, he left that part out, right? He didn't include, I just want to help people. Yes, you do, Jug. You do. You want to help your rich friends get richer. That's all. No biggie. It's just that thing that you do.
Yeah. So then we move to the minister, Steve Clark.
Is the volume at max on that?
Yep, it is on.
Yeah, it is. Okay.
Yeah, for some reason I don't know why it's so low. Hold on, maybe I can. Hold on a second.
Okay, let's see if we can get a little bit of it. It is coming through clear. It's just not really, really loud. When I do the audio, I'll when I release the audio version of the podcast, I will clean it up.
I upped the main volume, so maybe that will help.
We were given a clear mandate by the people in June, and I was given a clear mandate, as the Premier stated, to get a plan in place to build homes and build them as fast as possible. We're in the middle of a housing supply crisis.
Here we go again.
It's a severe crisis.
That was the extent of his answer to how could you not know, and immediately pivot again to we were in a crisis. We were in a crisis. I'll play the rest of it. Now almost him every time he answers, he's like standing really rigid like this, and and he's got this deer in the headlights look. But throughout the entire press conference, over and over and over and over again, there was a question asked to the Premier, Yes, and sometimes the premier opened his mouth to say one or two words like this, and he jumped in and answered for the premier.
Yes, he did.
And then the question the journalist said, and for you, premier, since we asked you, and then basically, well, what he said, he doesn't know his file. The man does not know his file, and his handlers have him on a really short leash because they do not want him freelancing.
You know what he is? He is the poster boy of the old white man who fails up. I mean, really.
So let's play the rest of his
crisis, and our severity required us to act quickly. I acknowledge the recommendations in the Auditor General's report that indicate that we need to make some changes. I respect that. I agree with those recommendations, and I will implement them. I've been very clear about when I knew about the properties. It was the week before it was presented to Cabinet. But I have a very huge mandate for the government. I've delivered housing supply action plans. I've delivered strong mayors. I've delivered housing pledges for our municipalities. And the government has had results, as the Premier alluded to.
All of it irrelevant. All of it utterly irrelevant.
The severity of the crisis dictated our government acting quickly.
No, it did not. The Auditor General said it. Or if it dictated acting quickly, it did not dictate acting quickly in the manner that you did.
I recognize the changes that are recommended in this report, and I acknowledge that we need to implement them as soon as possible.
Like, come on. Except for the one, what is it, to review everything that you just did under the shit job you did, under a process that was indefensible, that did not take into consideration any financial or environmental controls. Hello? She's telling you to start over.
Premier.
It's just, you see the look in his. This is a dead face. This is a dead face. These two people are sitting there and taking a beating, knowing that they've got to take this beating, and they're just basically saying whatever, hoping that they can then turn around and say to people, oh, we absolutely did not benefit in any way, shape, or form. I just now we go back to the Premier. Now check his face on this one, because he's not a happy camper here.
Did you or the housing minister or anyone connected to the government or your party receive any benefit personally?
Absolutely not. 100% not.
Absolutely not.
Look at that.
Mm-hmm.
He is not happy to be asked that. Now, of course, unfortunately, the journalist did not ask the follow-up question. Have you, the minister, or anybody else in your government, if you have not already personally benefited, have any agreements, any promises, any arrangements to benefit in the future from this? Like, say, when you're out of office, or say, for example, if it should happen that you need contributions to your legal defense fund, like your Republican idol south of you. Hey, Dougie. Is there any future kickback? Like maybe once you're not Premier anymore, you get to work on the board of some of these development companies? Maybe. Perhaps. Because journalists always ask the question, did you benefit? How about, will you benefit? Or like a new house maybe. Yes. Or, hey, if your next daughter gets married, maybe the Stag and Doe donations are not just $1,000.
I think there'll be a lot more.
Yeah. But, he is not happy, eh? He is not happy to have been asked that question. Not one bit. No. Not one bit here. Whoops, sorry. I changed the screen by accident. I was looking for my timestamps.
No worries.
All right. Then, okay. Then they are asked if they can. Well, I think the question is going to be clear from the way it is. This one really chapped my ass.
Premier's Richard Southern with City News 680. It seems like you're admitting that some mistakes were made by your government today. You say the buck stops with you, there are areas for improvement. Can you be specific with Ontarians this afternoon about exactly what was done wrong?
Well, I think the report says what was done wrong. The process should have been better, and I'm admitting the process should have been better. But when you're in a housing crisis,
he can't. He can't. Can you tell us specifically what went wrong? Well, I think the report said that things could have been done better, but if we got a housing crisis, and he goes back into his opening spiel again, that's that like when, hey, Mr. Atkinson, did you read the book for your book report? Yeah, there was a story and there were characters and there was a plot and stuff happened and
There was some literary references to words and stuff with things. It happened. I was there. I saw it.
And then he right. The timestamp is at, oh, come on, Douglas, stop doing that. The timestamp is at 12:35 here when he goes in. And it's like, and the next question starts at 13:45. So he goes on for a minute. He pivots for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
So he doesn't. He basically confessed to not reading the report at all, not being able to summarize what's specifically said he was done wrong. He doesn't care to. It's full steam ahead, regardless of the report, unless he's planning to parcel out more of Greenbelt land to his now unfriended developers. There's no more opportunity for a better process to be enacted. The lands have already been portioned out, so it's very easy to accept those 14 recommendations if you're not going to be doing it again. And then he gets he says, I get asked all the time, what are you going to what do you do about housing? It's like, well, I'm sorry, but the fact that you are uncomfortable because there's political pressure from the community and stakeholders for you to build more housing does not give you permission to circumvent the rules. The rules don't exist to be circumvented because your job is tough. And because people are asking you questions repeatedly, hey, when are you going to get on this and how well are you doing on this? Because it's a priority. It's a great thing. Well, people will keep on asking me all the time, what are you going to do with housing? What are you going to do with housing? So I had to come up with this new process to break the law 3 ways from Sunday, allegedly, in order to be able to get housing done because people were asking me all the time. And, well, that makes me uncomfortable and sad.
And we're getting it done in Ontario. We're building houses. Well, actually, private developers are building houses. It's not going to cost the Ontario taxpayer anything. Oh, we're just going to, give them away this public land. But they paid for it at 21% interest, by the way, for because it's good developable land that we should be developing because developers need that land because there's no infrastructure or roads or anything. But we're going to build a new highway. But no public transportation. How many of those homes are going to be affordable, built in the middle of nowhere with no infrastructure? What's the percentage, Doug? Oh right. Zero. Zero is the answer to that because in order for them to turn a profit, if they're supposed to build the infrastructure that Doug says the private developers will, they won't. They'll dump that on the municipality. We all know this is going to happen. But if they're supposed to build all that, who's building the public transportation system to get people to these affordable houses that won't exist? It's just the amount of bullshit he spews. It's like when you go to a Doug press conference, a Doug Ford press conference, they give you hip waders. Every journalist gets issued hip waders when you walk in because you're going to be swimming in a sea of bullshit to get out of there.
Now, here's the first instance of Steve Clark starting to reformulate 15 recommendations to actually be 14.
Mr. Steve Clark, Minister, it's hard for anyone that follows anything in this building to believe, I think, that you would not know what your chief of staff is doing on such a big file. How did you not know? And
again, look at the face.
Shit.
Are you asking for that chief of staff resignation? And have you talked to the premier about resigning yourself from this portfolio, sir?
I appreciate the confidence that the Premier has in me and my staff. I'm fully
I'm sure you do.
committed to the problems in the process that led us here to this report. And I'm committed to ensuring that the 14 recommendations will move forward and will move.
I'm committed to ensuring the 14 recommendations will move forward.
So he just eliminated the 15th
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Because it
A little clever rhetorical trick there, eh?
didn't suit his needs, so we'll just eliminate them.
A little clever rhetorical trick there, eh?
Well, you keep talking about 14.
Yeah.
Everybody will forget there's 15.
Right?
Oh, wait a sec. What's significant about 14? The number 14. The 14 words. I'm not accusing him of that. I'm just I thought it was coincidental. That's all.
Of Ontarians that are getting pushed farther and farther away from realizing the dream of home ownership. We need to continue to move forward on our housing supply action plan.
Pivot to blah, 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 blah. We need to move forward. We need to continue. We need to move forward. We need to continue. We need to move forward. We need to continue with this terrible plan. Literally, that's the entire press conference.
He's max headroom right now. He keeps repeating himself.
It was this whole press conference is reassurance for everybody. Listen, hey guys, I'm going to tell them that we're not friends anymore. But the thing that you need to hear from this conference is we're going to move forward. We need to continue. We're going to move forward. We need to continue. It is corrupt beyond belief. Beyond belief. Okay, so now they're asked about, well, right back in the days of Kathleen Wynne and Dalton McGuinty, you guys seem to believe one thing, but
I'm moving forward.
Mr. Premier, you criticized the last changes to the Greenbelt as being the result of obviously how we put it, a bunch of liberal staffers with crayons in a back room. But it seems like in this case, the changes were mostly decided by packets at a party. Can you please explain why you guys, for months and months and months, denied that there was any problem here, until it literally had to be dragged out of you by an Auditor General report? How can anybody in Ontario believe when you say there's no problem, and how can we be sure that you're just not gaslighting everybody?
Alan, the Premier's already addressed the information. There is a big difference between receiving information than advancing government policy.
Steve Clark to the rescue, because that's a question that the handlers don't want the Premier freelancing on.
Clearly.
So the journalists are right there. Now, this is several times that they said, how could you have not known? They're basically saying, we don't believe you.
You're lying to us, and we know it.
The journalists
we
are telling
know you're lying to us.
You're lying. Yeah. Exactly. And it's just like, and then this is one where they turn back to Ford. They go, well, yeah, the minister said it.
Yeah. You didn't answer the question.
And you're right. Journalists have to stop letting these people get away with all of this. Now,
agreed.
Now,
and I'm so sick of it. You know, we could be accredited under Cryer Media, but I guarantee you they would never let us into a press conference.
Oh no. Now again,
because you and I would not let them get away with that shit.
Yeah.
I would hammer the hell out of them till I'd say that's not an answer. It's not an answer. Answer the damn question. People need to know. You are my employee. You work for me. Answer the damn question.
Now, all that stuff they said about, oh, they didn't know anything that was going on. Well,
if sent to your email, how can both of these things be true?
Oh, okay. Sorry. The question got truncated here. Hold on. Let's see if I can go back here because it's actually a pretty good question.
My first question is for you. In the report, you say that you were unaware of what your chief of staff was working on. However, on, I believe it's September 27th, 29th, You received an email from a lawyer representing the developers whose lands were later removed. If sent to your email, how can both of these things be true?
So basically, if you couldn't hear the questions, he says he didn't know anything about the process until like 1 week before the report, whatnot. But apparently, there was an email that he received in September 27th, from one of the lawyers of the developers who had 3 plots of land removed.
Mm.
So how can both of these things be true?
Yeah.
And watch this. Where have we heard this answer before?
If I understand the email in question, it was referred to the government email and it was referred to the public service. I never saw the email. I receive again, just like the Premier said, I receive emails all the time regarding ERO postings, regarding consultations.
I didn't see the email. I got emails all the time. Bill Blair didn't see the email. Harjit Sajjan didn't see the email. Nobody in Mendocino's office communicated about the. It's amazing how all these answers are like terrible when the liberals give them.
Not when the conservatives give them.
And again, on your number one file.
Mm-hmm.
You're not
didn't see that
looking for emails. You didn't tell, hey, public service, if anything comes on this, because this is our number one file, make sure that you flag it with a big red sticker or post-it note on it and say, hey,
very
we'll
important.
read
Yes.
here. Put it in a purple binder rather than a brown one, so to make sure that we really see it. I swear Noah couldn't build an ark big enough.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. Then, questions were asked about, like, for example, if one person can do this and if this is your process, how can Ontarians trust decision making from your government? Because,
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that probably the same amount of thought went into the Ontario Place and the Ontario Science Centre decisions, right? And what about any other decisions that this government makes? I mean, if that's the process, if that's the extent of the thought they put into their number one process, imagine the stuff that doesn't matter.
No kidding.
Right? Such attention to detail. We have Mr. Clark another example of Mr. Clark coming to the rescue right over here for our kids.
Apartment or a condo from their parents.
Premier, if the housing crisis was so urgent, why didn't you move to expropriate the 7,400 acres and open up that land rather than let some progressive, conservative, connected developers make, in one case, on one parcel, potentially $6 billion? We wouldn't be here today if you'd just done that. Do you regret not doing something like that, expropriating the land so that the housing could be built more quickly?
The Premier and I have been very clear on this report and the recommendations to improve the process. We are committed to the 14 recommendations to make
There's 15
process moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
We've been very clear that there needs to be a better process to how the government and all ministries receive information. We concur with the Auditor General's recommendation, but at the end of the day, we also are in the middle of a housing supply crisis, and we need to ensure
back to the starting point
possible holes in the ground to build at least 1.5 million homes. We have to continue with our housing supply action plans. We have to continue to intensify around transit as part of our transit-oriented communities program. The government needs to move forward. The Premier makes an exceptional point. There's two choices. You either continue to build or you don't. We've stated very clearly, in addition to fixing the process, we're going to build.
We're in 23 minutes into this, and they're already reverting back to number one, making the same arguments. And of course, we need to move forward. We will continue. Now they move right back to the Premier.
Do you regret not expropriating the land instead of allowing some Tory-connected developers to make billions of dollars?
So journalists did that all the time. Whenever Steve Clark would jump in, it's like, yeah, that's it. Now, Premier, the question was for you. And then?
No, I don't regret that. I want homes built. As soon as the government starts getting involved in, the home building industry, that's unacceptable.
uh, uh, yeah, the- the- as soon as government gets involved in hopes, it's unacceptable. What?
Mm-hmm.
Who? What in the who and the huh?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's like, no, I don't regret it. And then the man does not know his file.
Of course he
Does
doesn't.
not know his file. And then he just launches into more folksy BS. It's just, and it just continues and it continues and it continues and it continues like this. But about 33 minutes into the thing, reporters really start losing patience with these two, as you can tell by this question coming up here.
50,000 people at minimum are going to be thankful they have a place to call home, have the Ontario dream, have a roof over their head.
Premier, just to pick up on that point, hasn't the Auditor General's report comprehensively demolished that talking point that you bring up over and over again? The 17 times the Liberals altered the Greenbelt. I covered that when it happened. It was 340 acres. It was mostly administrative changes, transition problems with the boundaries. It is not related in any way to the process you went through, which was 3 weeks. Nobody could apply. There were 600 applications under that process. So first, can you just respond to why do you continue to repeat that utterly demolished talking point? There's no comparison between these two events.
Well, actually, there is. There's one government that changed it 17 times because they knew it was the wrong decision, right? It was very simple. But they did it for 2 different.
He was just told why those 17 changes were made from the guy who researched and worked and reported on this. It's like, no, let me consplain to you what it really was.
Mm-hmm.
Are you kidding me right now? Are you kidding me right now? Wow. Just and then here's where you know he's really panicking on this one, because watch to where he pivots when you continue this answer.
I'll finish my question and you can ask me another one. The answer, I should say. They went out, which is not being reported, for their buddies, for their mega mansions. They went out to build a golf course. They went out for a golf dome and a Jiffy Lube. We're going out to build homes. By the way, 1/3 of 1% of the 2 million acres that the Greenbelt covers, 1/3 of 1%. And by the way, we increased that. We've added 2,600.
That's a lot of by the ways before he gets to this point.
Oh, yeah.
The process, I've agreed, take responsibility, and we're changing it. Matter of fact, we're changing it as I gave direction as soon as I heard about the report.
Yeah, that stat you mentioned is an important one to mention, but and that brings me to my next question, which is, why do this then? If the chorus of experts, we're talking about the Planning Institute, all of the regional planners, the regions that surround Toronto, your own government's housing task force said, we do not need to expand the amount of land we have for housing. We have enough housing, according to a number of estimates, including bureaucrats who work for your government. The Administrative Housing told me several years ago this was the case. They have enough housing land earmarked for 2 million homes. The problem is we're not building fast enough. And you've made other changes in that direction. Why do you need to ruin everything with this problematic process that's gotten everybody upset?
But you may call, I apologize, Minister, you may call it ruining. I'm calling giving people an opportunity to buy a home, to buy an affordable home.
Sure,
You're comparing stats 2 years ago. You're comparing stats a year ago that we didn't know we were having 500,000 people show up to Ontario. We're basing that on 200,000 people. We didn't base it on having 2 cities the size of Toronto land in Ontario in the next 10 years.
And here it comes.
By the way, the 500,000, amount of 504,000 people coming to Ontario, that's not even accurate. As I said, The balance of the 600,000 people, the 1.1 million the feds brought in, you know and I know, minimum 40-50% are landing here in Ontario.
Drop in the bucket.
Actually, it's 100. Tell that to 50,000 people. Tell that to your kids, my friend. Tell that to your kids. Tell it to the grandparents and the parents that have to find a home. You have two choices. It's 150,000 people. We're changing their lives. We're giving them the opportunity. We're going to continue building. And at minimum, we need 1.5 million homes. And I just want to point out,
Here we go.
we have to work collaboratively with the municipalities. We put the goals out there, they signed off on it. Well, I'm going to start off with positive news. These are the people, or the towns and the cities, I should say, that are meeting their targets.
Now let me toot my own
I'll
horn.
start off with Barrie. The rate of meeting target pace right now, they're at 90%. So congratulations to the mayor and the council. Brantford is leading the entire province at 109%. Just looking down the list here, we have Pickering at 107%.
Stalling.
And you know who I have to congratulate? I have to congratulate former Mayor Tory.
Fluffing.
The largest city in the country, with more hurdles and more barriers down at that city than you'd ever imagine.
That's not true.
He drove a system. He's at 90%. I'm hoping the new mayor will follow in the steps of Mayor Tory.
There it is. There it is. That's the whole reason all of that happened. All of that. He had that little bit of stump speech ready that he could just slide in there because their clerk was going to save them. He go, no, I got something for this.
Well, and his statement about the most difficult city to no, that's total hogwash, Doug. Oh, but what Doug fails to recognize is that Ottawa is actually in the province of Ontario that he governs over. Ottawa is the most difficult city to get anything done in. Do you know why, dear kits and cubs and listeners and viewers? I'll tell you why. You see, in Ottawa, we have to deal with, to get anything done when it comes to any sort of transit, we're on the border of the province of Quebec. We have Gatineau across the river. There's like 500,000 people that live there. It's actually closer to 600,000 now. And there's over 1 million in Ottawa. And we have to deal with 2 provincial governments. Then we have to deal with the federal government because there's a lot of federally owned lands in Ottawa. Oh, and then we have the NCC to deal with. So to be a mayor of the city of Ottawa, you have multiple levels of government to deal with to do just about anything in this city. And I'll give you an example. Spark Street. You're familiar with Ottawa's world famous Spark Street Mall. It's a pedestrian shopping plaza. The north side is owned by the federal government. The south side is owned by the National Capital Commission. All the rents go to either the federal government or the National Capital Commission, any sort of rental properties, because they're all rental properties. That all goes to either one of them. The city of Ottawa is responsible for maintaining the street, maintaining the infrastructure, the lighting, the sewer, blah, 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 and gets no money from any of it. And not only that, the city can't do anything on that street because it's not city lands. It's either federal lands or NCC lands.
Right.
So you realize how difficult it is to get anything done in this city? You have multiple levels of government, provincial, federal, the NCC, and the province of Quebec to deal with.
Right. You got Kit PNC Bio going, fake news, Ottawa's in Manitoba.
Yes, yeah.
All right. More. Watch here as we see Doug Ford pull a Danielle Smith.
Regarding the process, are fixed and are strengthened.
Lastly, can the Premier comment on whether these 2 developers who stood to profit to the tune of about $8.3 billion were his friends? He uses the word friends a lot in press conferences. Were these his personal friends? Were these his political donors?
No, I'm going to answer that straight up. And first of all, the report doesn't mention them by name, so I'm guessing, but I'm not.
I'm going to answer this straight up, but first of all,
friends with any of these developers. I don't sit there and go to their house and have a good time. I'm about building homes. I'm about fixing the economy, making sure we continue in the right direction. Make sure people have a great job. I'm
not about friends. I'm about building homes. It's not like I go over to their homes and sit around. I just have them come over to mine and contribute to my daughter's wedding fund.
I'm about building homes. But Doug, you said the province of Ontario is not paying for this. You said private developers are. So which is it, Doug? If you're building homes and you keep saying you are, we are, but the province isn't, are you profiting off of this $8.3 billion boondoggle? Because it certainly sounds like it. He keeps painting himself into a corner on this.
He keeps including himself in the people who are as the developers.
Yes.
Yes. So, and now watch him finish the set. So he goes, no, not at all, right? Like this, they're not my friends. Like this pivots into some folksy stuff. Watch what happens.
Job. And with that great job, they'll be able to afford a home. So I look forward to making sure that we build the 50,000 homes for 150,000 people and the families, building beautiful communities paid by the landowner, the home builder, for the infrastructure.
They're really not your friends, really.
Well, again, I think I answered that question pretty clearly.
No, you didn't.
Oh,
you didn't.
Oh,
you didn't answer the question at all.
Oh, look, they even got Danielle Smith's face there.
Yeah.
When she says that, I think I've already answered the question.
No, you have not.
Okay, first, I think already that's a stretch. I've already answered the question.
Smell the smoke burning.
Oh man, it's just,
yeah.
I swear, man. And then we get to, those little political weasel words that you insert into an answer, like, to the best of my knowledge and as far as I know.
Mm-hmm.
Let's take a look at this one.
Let's go to tape.
Hi, Camille with CBC Radio Canada. Premier, just to be sure, do you have bigger plans going forward for the Greenbelt? Or are you considering opening up more of it?
I have no plans right now.
I have no plans right now. That's a tell.
I just want to get these built. I want to meet the 1.5 million homes that we promised to get built. I want to work in collaboration with the cities. In cooperation, we want to give the cities benefits.
Blah, 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 blah. No plans right now.
Which means he's going to be dumping more of that land to his developers when they start to make big money off of it.
Yep. And let's see here. There was one last one. Hold on. You need to keep talking, though, because I don't think I have the right cue on this
No
one.
worries. It's the amount of absolute bovine scatology they are feeding us on a daily basis. And they continue to get away with it, which really, you know how, why am I exasperated all the time? That's why. Because he can lie with impunity. Nobody ever holds him to task for the lies he tells us right while he's telling us them. In real time, he's lying to our faces, and he's not held to task for it.
Yep. All right, we get to some of the final questions here. The first one is a total non-answer, and the last one ends with a Clark to the rescue once again.
Thanks. To get back to the auditor's report, one of the headlines of this is that these developers, I just wanted to ask you about this again. Sure. These developers stand to make more than $8 billion in the value of the property that they own, substantially more. It's a windfall for them. Are you okay with that?
I'm okay with people building 50,000 homes, 150,000 families. I'm okay with the...
That's not what you were asked what you were okay with.
No, he's obfuscate, sidestep.
Yeah, obvious sidestep.
Handle.
Yep. And then it continues.
Go by and say hello and thank them for coming to the community.
Yeah.
This will be the last reporter.
Hello, Premier Minister Mike Walker, CTV. Well, for the past hour, you both have repeatedly said that we acted too fast, that the process is flawed. You doubt to make improvements moving forward, but just clearly state, why not take a second look? this process was flawed. Why not reevaluate?
Because the problem is so severe. We literally have a generation of people who have no hope. They don't have a hope to have a home that meets their needs in their budget. This provides us an opportunity not just to build homes for 150,000 people, but the community benefits that the Premier and I have talked about.
Final question. Why are you not adhering? Why are you not accepting recommendation 15? Because the problem is so terrible that we don't have time to do it. We got, which is exactly what you got here in this. Everything, all the paths come back to that starting point. There's an emergency. We need to build now, and we can't bother to care about how, where, who, why, what. And we're not going to change a thing. Every single answer, everything just comes back to it's like having a conversation with a brick wall. It's literally a circular conversation. Everything comes back to there's a need. And therefore, that justifies, again, like protests, like the need to protest, the need to build housing. Nobody's going to say that there is no need for a right to protest, and nobody's going to say that there's no need to build housing. But as with all things, you can't protest any damn way you choose, and you can't build housing any damn way you choose. There are rules.
Doug Ford's Greenbelt mess is just the latest example of his disdain for the rules. It's as simple as that.
There
He
is
hates rules.
So much Trump in this guy. Whereas Trump, when he answers a question, right, he goes off about, oh, poor me, and it's like him, it's like, oh, for the people. For the people. Those 1.5 million homes for those 50,000, right? How many times, like, and I didn't even play the whole thing. Did he say 1.5 million homes, 50,000? There was a point where they're saying, well, these houses that you're building, they're big like this, some woman said, it's like these houses that you say you're building, like this, and you're talking about immigrants, like immigrants can't buy them in the first few years like this. I'm an immigrant. I come here. I know this for a fact. It says, well, maybe not in the first for 2 years, but they will be able to eventually.
Yeah, that's cute.
If they follow into the Ontario dream. So you're not building them for them now. People need housing now.
No, that's not important.
Eventually, but they wrapped all of that in, right?
Of course.
Every answer into the new people, we got to build homes for them, and we need them, and we need to. Oh yeah, they'll get them eventually. Eventually, they'll make enough money. They'll get enough jobs. It's like, again, have you heard the housing report? It's like most people don't have enough. Kids are needing their parents to leave some of the inheritance to them before they die, so that they can afford a down payment. And you're going to tell me that people that just came here after 2, 3, 4, 5 years are going to have enough to build for these homes that you're building right now in McMatchin land, for which you absolutely need a car?
Well, because it's only going to be serviced by a highway that we're going to pay for. Wait a second. Hold on a second here. I thought Ontario wasn't going to be stuck with the bill for any of this. I thought we weren't going to have to pay for this, but we're building a highway. But Doug, very few people want that or need that highway. Well, we're building houses along the Greenbelt, so we're going to need. Oh, so you're going to destroy several million acres of, well, a million, maybe several thousands of acres of land destroyed to build a highway to nowhere, basically. But these houses will be built in the future. That there's no public infrastructure whatsoever. Wait a sec. The developers are going to pay for that, but you said Ontario, we're building houses. Like he doesn't have a single salient point, not a single one.
No.
He just obfuscates and speaks in his folksy manner.
Yep. Gives as much an answer as he can to like literally say sort of tendently address the question, I guess, or the minister comes in to save him, I guess, and then just goes off with folks, friends of folks. Oh, gee, all shucks. Well, I just want to find people homes.
Mm-hmm.
That's all, folks. Premier Porky Pig. Pork, 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 pork. The premier of pork. Seriously. And then yesterday, because clearly that press conference did not do the trick. So he was asked questions again. And now here's the wonderful thing about this scandal for this guy is this is his number one issue. So, and you have to make announcements of housing projects over and over and over again, because all the housing projects are not just in one neighborhood or in one community, right? So yesterday, while all of this was going on, Doug Ford said, tune in as our government announces more funding for supportive housing units, where that press conference happened where he cut off that lady. And it's like, yeah, forevermore, every time he makes a housing announcement, he reminds people that the Auditor General had actually had to run to the cops. Even grandma and grandpa can understand this one. He's screwed. He's literally screwed.
Oh, yeah.
Every time he's going to make this. And here we go. This is the one where Amar Khan, who's a journalist with Global News, posts, Premier Ford doesn't like this line of questioning about why his government decided to build in the Greenbelt, as the AG's report found there's enough land to build in urban land. And the 1.5 million homes he speaks of had already been allocated to municipalities. Had already been allocated.
Mm-hmm.
So there were plans for them.
Oh, yeah.
He cuts the reporter off. Like I said, my first thought, let me guess, the reporter's female, right?
Mm-hmm.
To do this, to build the 1.5 million homes. You continue ahead.
Okay.
Do you not think
Hold on,
that...
one second. I'm sorry, please go ahead. So you keep repeating the message, and I'm going to repeat our message. That was 19 months ago. 19 months ago, they said that. Since 19 months, all of a sudden, more than 500,000, probably 800,000 people have arrived in 19 months.
Yeah, girl, I'm tired of you boring me.
Just pulling number out of his arse. Right?
Girl, you're boring me. So, and surprise of surprise, here's the thing, right, with a press, even a sycophantic press, right? Journalists still aspire to something, right? They still want to be known. There's when you're moving, you want to move to reporter, to columnist, to get the head of the political show, particularly in political journalism. So people and journalists are often very happy to go along, quite happy to go along, until it is very, 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 very clear that there is blood in the water.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know if you hear the I don't know if you hear the theme from Jaws. Way, 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 way back in the background. But you've got things like this happening, Mr. Grizzly, which make my ears prick up. Who is this tweet from, Mr. Grizzly?
Lori Goldstein.
And what does he say?
In my opinion, it's also irrelevant and won't help them on the issue. Either Ford and Clark knew what was going on or they didn't know. Both are unacceptable. Whoa. That's impressive coming from Lori.
Uh-huh. And what, Rick?
Sacrificing a motto is Ford's Pontius Pilate moment.
And what did Lori say about that?
Throwing political staffer Ryan D'Amato under the bus isn't the answer. Either his bosses knew what he was doing or they didn't. Both Unacceptable. Investigation into Ontario Housing Minister's Chief of Staff after scathing Greenbelt report being considered. You know, when you've got when you've lost Lori, when you've got Lori Goldstein calling you out, because Lori is all about towing the political conservative line. But when you've lost him, that should tell you something. That should tell you something.
There are bodies being thrown from the train.
Mm-hmm. I got two infographics I want to show on the screen here about rental prices around the country. So the first one shows the average rents in Montreal. A studio apartment is $1,308 a month. A one bedroom is $1,605 a month. Two bedrooms in Montreal, average rents $2,067 a month, and three bedrooms $2,645. Average rents in Edmonton, studio $1,133, one bedroom $1,253, two bedrooms $1,453, and a three bedroom $1,637. Average rents in Vancouver, a studio $2,366 for a studio apartment. So it's like 450 square feet, if that. A one bedroom $2,721. Two bedrooms $3,630 in Vancouver. Now let's look at just the province of Ontario. Toronto, a studio, $1,816. A one bedroom, $2,121. Two bedrooms, $2,504, and three bedrooms, $2,761. Let's go out west to Calgary, where a studio is $1,340, a one bedroom is $1,608, two bedrooms are $1,851, and three bedrooms are $1,963. And let's come to the city of Ottawa, where I live, where a studio apartment is $1,387. A one bedroom is $1,752. That's a lot more than I pay. Two bedrooms are $2,113, and three bedrooms are $2,297. This is average prices, if you can find something. Now let's take one more thing, another infographic here. Home prices versus real disposable income. Home prices and incomes in the United States of America in 2022. Home prices they dipped. In the 2000s, they rocketed up and then dipped after the housing crisis of 2008 and stayed below income. Income increased at the start of the pandemic and it's dipped, and housing prices are relative to income in the United States of America. Now in Canada, as everybody knows, it's a completely different story. Home prices have gone up 400% since the year 2002. In Canada, and incomes have remained, they're relatively flat, comparatively speaking. From 1980, and that's the baseline, going from 1980, a 0% increase to 100% increase in incomes. And you can see the big spike somewhere along the 80s. I'm not sure exactly where it was. And then, start of the pandemic, there was a dip. And now home prices at the end of 2022, right? This is when this took place. You can see home prices are through the roof. Over 400% change. Well, incomes, in 43 years have increased by 100%.
Yeah. Now, Ford is pivoting to starting to attack the Bank of Canada.
Of course.
For interest rates, because he needs a diversion. But while this is going on, that last question that was asked in the press conference, Amar Khan, again from Global, reports, I believe the last question of the day is from Toronto Sun's Joe Warmington, who just asked Premier Ford why he and Mr. Clark don't sit down with these developers, go over the process again, and do it the right way. Warmington says he can't understand that. So he's lost Warmington. He's lost Lori. I guess, and you got Evan Scrimshaw going, a moral and ethical question, so easy Joe Warmington's on the right side? Well, I'd never have guessed that was possible. And then you have David Moskrop also friend of the show, going, I look forward to seeing your takedown of the Ford government as you struggle to match Joe Warmington's capacity for insight. This was directed to Brian Lilly, who, of course, did not fail to come to Doug Ford's rescue, which caused me to be a little crude. Remember that Stephen Colbert late show where he referred to someone as Donald Trump's cock holster? They had to take it off. Okay, if this doesn't certify Brian Lilly's status as Doug Ford's cock holster, I do not know what is. When the Ford government told Toronto in 2019 they needed more density near transit, they fought him. When they sought to help Habitat for Humanity with development charges, the NDP and media fought him. They fought everything he's done on housing. Lilly, ignore Ford's critics who oppose every effort to build homes. I guess he didn't get the Team Sun memo because Warmington and Lurie have already jumped ship. But, well.
Yeah. Well, remember his partner is Doug's mouthpiece. It's Ivana Yelich, correct? Is that her name?
Yeah, Ivana Yelich.
Ivana Humpalat.
So, yeah. It seems that Brian is a ride or die.
Mm-hmm.
But if you, again, when Warmington and Goldstein say, yeah, you know what, we're off, and Lilly keeps doing what he's always been doing, bought and paid for. Bought and paid for.
Sorry, I didn't mean to do that.
Right. Mr. Grizzly, do we have a show?
We do have a show. And just before we go, I have two quick graphics to show you. And one of them has to do with the current state of the weather. Because we had, as you know, we had some severe flooding here just the other day in Ottawa. I'm sure many people saw the flooding that took place. So Canada's capital, national capital city, we have had 3 massive rainstorms in the last 3 weeks, all happening on a Thursday, oddly enough. We had 2 tornadoes and 3 hailstorms. And they all took place on a Thursday, which is really strange, but that's what happened. But remember the from what was this 2 years ago? Canadian Conservative Party votes to not recognize climate crisis as real. Delegates vote 54 to 46% against policy change request. Leader O'Toole has sought ambitious climate change agenda.
Ambitious for Conservatives.
Yes.
Let's clarify that. That word was doing a lot of work on that.
Oh, yeah. So that was the one graphic that I thought, because we talk about climate change on this show. We do. It's real. And obviously we've experienced a lot of it lately here in Canada's capital city. And then let's just end off with the tweet we started with because, this just, it makes me feel.
I want to read it this time because it's
do,
so much
sir.
fun.
Please do.
I have been diagnosed with testicular atrophy, micropenis, gynecomastia, and periodontitis. Apparently, I have incurable anal fissures. This led me to a fascination with 14-year-olds. I feel bad for myself.
Mark Slapinski. Now, that it's not real, but it's accurate.
Can we not say that it is? I mean, Mark likes to say things that are not true, and there doesn't seem to be no consequence for him. Can we just not?
What's the way to get out of that? I'm not saying. I'm just saying. I'm not saying.
Many people are saying.
Many people are saying.
Many people are saying. Isn't he petty in pink?
Petty. Petty in pink.
Kids, well, that's the end of this episode of the Daily Beaver podcast. We hope that you love listening to us because clearly we love making this for you. We're doing some overtime here. Remember that sharing is caring and word of mouth is priceless. Let your peeps know about us. And even though the Weather Network said that the clouds should be rolling in, it is completely clear blue skies and full sun. So I have no idea what's going on. Yes, let your peeps and poops know about us. Spread the good word. Spread the good word, brothers and sisters. Because democracy is something that you do. If you like stirring the pot, and you don't mind some of its contents getting on your fingers, because it's just so finger looking good. Again, write to your press, particularly if you're living in Ontario. Because when you get blood in the water like this, you want the press to know that they're going to get ratings from keeping on digging, and viewership and readership and subscribership. So let them know, hey, this is real. I love this reporting that you're doing on Doug Ford's attempts to screw us over with the Greenbelt, all that. Please, we would love much more of that. Hey, could you ask him these questions too?
Mm-hmm.
We're really looking forward to tuning in or buying your next guest, or maybe even, if this gets the scrutiny that I expect like this, I definitely subscribe to be sure I don't miss out. Just if you like to stir pot. I'm not. Well, I'm very strongly recommending. I was going to say, I'm not telling you what to do, but I'm not telling you what to do, but I'm very strongly urging. I would never tell you how to live your lives, but this way.
And if you need to escape for an hour at a time, as somebody suggested earlier in the chat, it was Dan. Dan says, I hope Ottawa's okay. Take 30 minutes to listen to some music, and the trash we deal with daily can take an effect. Be well. So to that, I put a clickable link in the chat, self-serving, but it's to my my jazz podcast. I have a jazz show, and if you need to escape and listen to some soothing words, learn a little bit about jazz, and have a listen to some great music, please feel free to click.
Yummy, yummy, yummy jazz.
I'll have a new show before the weekend's out.
So, do democracy. Dan, dude.
Hang in there, brother.
Yeah. And just, best advice, just before doing any public, as, that saying says, roll your tongue 7 times, 70 times in your mouth, 7 times, 7 times in your mouth. Just be sure. But don't back down.
No.
Don't back down. Stand up for what's right and go get what's yours. Hi,
Kendra.
Oh, hi, Kendra. Lovely to see you. If you really like this podcast, you can find us on the Crier Media Network, as well as all Beaver Grizzly friendly platforms. Stars and reviews are appreciated. You are, again, the reviews coming in, even the hate ones. Thank you so much.
I respond to a lot of the comments on the shorts. Thanks for watching. Please share and subscribe.
Yep, comments on the shorts, great. Also about the shorts, I thought we would mention. I would like to mention because I care about the quality of what we put out, and there were some shorts that came out yesterday, and I was listening to them, and I'm going like, what the hell? Like, it doesn't even have the full sentence, and why did they cut from there? And like, that wasn't even. Why is there a short on the weather report? I was going to say the weather at the. Apparently, it's an algorithm thingy that we put it through because the shorts are all vertical.
Yeah, they have to be done so for your phone, right?
For your phone.
It's YouTube's version of TikTok, if you will.
Exactly. Apparently, they're just the fastest and easiest way to get them out there is to let the algorithm pick them and put them in that format. Because I talked to Mr. Grizzly, says, well, couldn't we just like do a timestamp from here to here without like editing in between, just like pull that thing out? Like, but the problem is that would still be horizontal and not vertical, so we can't use it. And then switching it from one to the other, so many hours of work.
Hours of work. So I can pan and scan from one to the next is basically what it boils down to, along with editing video. Takes a ton of computational power, which is a very long, slow process to get literally a 60-second clip to do it the way you want to do it in the format that they need it in. I don't have enough time in my day to do it. I simply don't.
Yeah. So our choices were
do it or don't do it, basically.
Shorts of varying quality.
Well, and the short is just a clip to help spark interest. That's all it is, right?
Absolutely. I mean, it is working on the subscribers, like getting more people to subscribe and all that kind of stuff, which is probably stimulating maybe the hate reviews.
That's fine
as well. But the option was, because doing those 3 hours work. So it's these quality shorts or not. And we do want to get the word out there. So we have decided to go with them. But just for you, in case you click on one and you happen to like be looking at it and going, what the hell? It's not us. Wasn't me. It wasn't Grizzly either. We love to hear from you. Reach us on our Facebook at True North Eager Beaver, our Twitter feed at True Eager, or by email at truenortheagerbeaver@gmail.com. You can subscribe to our pod page. Thank you to Kit Raygirl at podpage.com/the True North Eager Beaver. That's lowercase letters with a hyphen between each one of those words. And if you feel romantic and in the mood to smash, well, we've got a couple of buttons for you on our True North Eager Beaver Media Incorporated YouTube channel. Yes, that squiggly that just appeared under my chin, that's to bring you to our pod page if you want to subscribe there. But on our True North Eager Beaver Media Incorporated YouTube channel, which I have to say is doing quite well. We're getting on the close. We're closing in on 320, and I remember asking just weeks ago for you to get us over 300. So that's since shorts. So they work.
Mm-hmm.
They work. But thank you. Thank you very much to everyone.
The shorts reach a different audience, right? Because you can just be scrolling and it'll pop up on your phone. And if you're interested, you might go looking for more. You can click on the link. So it brings people in, and it's a tool. It's a tool.
It's a tool. Yeah. And since I really don't want to do TikTok specifically, just because, there's doubts as to like who owns that. Like, 'cause we know that technically is the place to be, and if we wanted to get viewership quickly, that's where we would go. But
it's
no.
No.
Nah.
And I have a TikTok. It's a personal TikTok, and on that channel, I don't discuss politics. I started it to promote the ASMR channel, which is on your screen right now if you want to check that out.
There we go. So smash those buttons, the like and the subscribe on our True North Eager Beaver Media Incorporated YouTube channel. The faster we get to 1,000, probably we'll be able to start producing even better quality for you. I don't know. I actually don't know how well it monetizes, to be totally honest, but we know that it does. Yeah. We can't do this without your kind and generous support. So if you feel that we've done a particularly good show this week, if you particularly liked this show, if you like our deep dive into Doug Ford, Doug Ford owns TikTok. Oh, get down, you.
You rascal.
But if you would like
scallywag,
if you feel that we've done a particularly good show, if you liked the special, if you like our in-depth coverage of what's going on with Doug Ford, and I'll be reaching out to journalist Robert Lee, who we've had on the show before, because we haven't had him on for a while, because basically Daniel Smith has been sucking up all the oxygen, pretty much, and then so is PP with his all his anti-pride stuff, and so it's sort of like all the Doug Ford stuff has sort of been like meanwhile in the background for the last 3 months until like this stuff started popped up. So he can probably tune us into a few things that we've missed since then. Because one thing about Doug Ford is the man does put in the work.
He does.
He works really hard at screwing us over.
He does.
Really hard.
Got to give him credit. He does work really hard at screwing us out of our money.
Oh boy,
he puts the work in.
Tons of plans. He's got tons of plans. Yeah, we can't do this without your kind and generous support. So, yes, if you would, that little squiggly by Mr. Grizzly's head brings you to the True North Eager Beaver Lodge Emergency Hydration Fund, our Caesar Fund, our Business Fund, our Coffee Fund, our gluten-free Farm Boy chocolate chip ice cream cookie sandwiches, and I think I'm missing one. Coffee, Guinness, Caesar,
glass of wine.
Glass of wine. Let's do glass of wine today. Hot chocolate. How can I forget hot chocolate? I am what I drink.
Just give me a sec.
Okay.
Keep going. I'll be right back.
So if you're watching, you can scroll. You can scan that QR code, and that will bring you to our tip jar. And if you are listening, please coffee, ko-fi.com/eagerbeaver, all lowercase letters, one word. And that's where you can make your donation. We appreciate absolutely every nickel. Thank you. Thank you so very much. And you are always very kind and generous with us. So, which warms our hearts. So thank you very much. And we have some kids joining us there. Kit Donna hopping in late from listening to one of my right-wing nutters. What a lovely relief. We love it. We love it. We love being the relief. From the Beaver Lodge, this is your eager beaver saying, until next time, dear kids, it can be a tough world out there. So please be kind to and gentle with yourself. And I know I haven't been given any tennis updates lately, but
there's no Canadians left. They're all out.
Yeah, they're all out. But your Queen Beaver is once again on a 4-match winning streak and on the activity ladder at his club. Where you get 2 points if you win and 1 point if you lose. So it's not, just the best players. It's how much you play as well helps. Is I am 2 points out of first place. And a couple weeks ago, I was 11 points out of first place. I'm getting the prize this year. Hey, it's a prize I can win by playing more than anybody else. That's about the Those are the only ones I'm going to win at tennis. So I'm going for my gold my own way. But yes, but my in the last there's been an uptick in my level in the last week. The lessons I took are really paying off. So I'm pretty happy about that. All right.
I'm going to send you a link here in the chat, sir, if you have a way of opening these.
Okay.
It's I can't access it. It's behind a paywall.
Oh yeah, I do have a way to access that for the next show.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
And if you could get the access and send it to me, because I'd like to read it so that I'm well prepared for the next show.
Absolutely, we can do that. All right. From the Beaver Lodge, this is your eager beaver saying, until next time, dear kids, it could be a tough world out there. So please be kind to and gentle with yourself, and have a great weekend. And if you're in Ontario and you can turn your brain off for a while at some point during this weekend, please do, because I think you'll need a little respite, because I have a feeling that over the next coming weeks, there is going to be a backhoe full of news.
Oh, yeah.
Backhoes full of news. Involving, again, and I'm going to keep on saying, I'm rebranding. He's now Premier Porky Pig.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, works for me.
Yeah. Mr. Grizzly, some words of wisdom?
Yes, actually. It's important to unplug from reality from time to time, as you know I do from frequently, especially in this role where we have to sift through a lot of bullshit, which can be difficult sometimes. So if you want to have a smile on your face like we do right here in this photo, go see the Barbie movie.
So cute.
Go see Barbie. It's a really fun film. It'll make you smile. It'll make you laugh. And if you think it's super woke, no, it's not. It's not at all. It's just a really well-written, well-acted, well-scripted, well-performed film. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And Greta Gerwig just makes great movies. And this is not the first time she's done this. Yeah. It's the first time she's eclipsed $1 billion at the box office. But
the art, decoration, and costumes alone are worth the price of admission. And then you get everything else. And, if you are afraid that it is too woke, just sit in the audience and say, entertain me. It's a good romp.
It really is.
It's a good romp.
Then afterwards, you can check out your ASMR for mental health on my personal YouTube channel, Polly's World.
Especially if you're triggered somehow.
Yes. And if that doesn't help
We're here to help.
If that doesn't help you, just go to my jazz. It's right here. Let me share it with you. I'll just share it with you right here quickly. Just put it on the screen so you can see it right there on the Spotify.
There you
Songs and Stories, Supplemental Jazz Edition by me, yours truly.
With Keith Jarrett, Gary Peacock, Jack DeJohnette, Over the Rainbow, Leo Donaldson. Ooh.
Yeah, that's just a one from last April, but the most recent one is from July 19th. Okay. But if you look at the cover art I have here.
Yes. I recognize that place.
Recognize that place? Yes, that is where we do the pubcast.
Yep.
Which we've got to nail down a date. And I was talking to a staff member yesterday. She goes, "When you haven't done one in a while?" I said, "Well, Canada Day was the last one." I said, "We've both been super busy. It's summertime. You know how." She goes, "Oh yeah, I get that." I said, we're trying to nail down the next show. But I said I think we're going to do our next one on the road. Go to Kingston and probably do it at the Merchant if we could. You know, we got to check with them and see what they have Wi-Fi. I don't know what it's like. I don't know how well it would work, and if they'd be comfortable with us doing the show. But we can certainly check with them because I would like to do at least one road show this summer. And if we can't do it at the Merchant, maybe we can. I don't know. We could venture to the Hammer and have Ryan hook us up with something because I know Ryan's not really involved in the media as of late, but I think he'd be happy to join for a podcast for a little bit.
Yes.
Was he on
Black Bolt? Yeah,
he was on last night. Okay, yeah. I wasn't sure if there was a show last night, and then I saw that you guys were on.
Yeah,
and
James wasn't feeling well.
No, I didn't think so. And I was like, I wasn't up to it last night because we'd been out, we'd done a lot of stuff. I had a long work day, and then we went out for dinner and drinks, and we got back here, and we were just sitting here watching YouTube music videos all night. And she says, "Are you jumping?" I go, "No, I just want to hang out with you here tonight." So that's why you didn't see me last night. Next Friday, I'll jump in. No, promise.
Oh, great. Now you got Dan go, single 45-year-old white dude sitting in a Toronto theater watching Barbie. I'll wait for the DVD. Tip your waitress. Dan, I really recommend as a theater experience.
Yes. Yeah.
It's a big screen movie, and it's one of those ones that's good to see with a crowd.
Yes, because you'll laugh uncontrollably.
Yeah. I really recommend it. Trust me, it's worth your time and it's worth your money. It's a good, regardless of everything, just on its own, as a movie on its own, it's a good movie. It's a good romp. It's entertaining, and it's well done. Yeah. All right, Mr. Grizzly, roll them credits, and I have an Easter egg when we come.
Oops.
You are listening to a True North Eager Beaver media podcast. The True North Eager Beaver podcasts are proudly brought to you by our founding sponsors, the Miss V Mysteries from Corvid Moon Publishing, your source for science fiction, fantasy, and cozy mysteries featuring a broad diversity of characters. CanadianTarot.com, your uniquely Canadian online eclectic tarot community and forum. And the Peppermaster, hot pepper sauces made from fresh farm ingredients to thrill your taste buds and expand your mind.
You looked like you were dancing the Charleston there for a second.
I was.
Okay.
I was.
Like, is that the Charleston? It looks like the Charleston to me.
Good eye.
I'm old, so I've been around.
Yeah. All right, kids. You know, I often say democracy is something that you do. And I say, like, sometimes you need to put your body in the way.
Mm-hmm.
There's 2 women in this video. And I am as queer as a $3 bill. I am professing my undying love for the woman in red hair in this video.
Okay, let's go
Be
to
this
tape.
woman.
Let's roll the tape. Let's see if it's going to show up. Yeah, it's showing up. Excellent.
Right. This is in Iowa when DeSantis shows up. I want that T-shirt.
Bitches get shit
Bitches
done.
get stuff done. And I love this woman. Be this woman.
Yep.
All right, kids. Have a great weekend.
We'll see you soon.